Cady, flush the toilet. Wash your hands. Roll up your sleeves. Cady, flush the toilet. Cady, seriously, flush the toilet.
And that's the most important function of a murder robot.
Yes.
Remind you to flush the toilet.
That's how you make a horrible human being, is by just stunting him after getting out of the toilet and making him feel guilty about having germs in your hands.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Hashtag toilet
And
guilt.
hey, her job, she had one function, and her function is to help keep sure that Cady is safe from any emotional and physical harm. So, hey, this robot did her job perfectly. It's what she was programmed to do. All right. It's not her fault that she didn't have the right parameters.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Science Fiction Revenant. I promise I am not your evil robot. I am Robert.
Unfortunately,
I'm not evil robot, Robert.
Unfortunately, I'm not choking for this one. This is Captain Chaos.
Mad robot scientist Ray down here in Australia.
I love that. And for this episode, I am so freaking excited because we have been on his show. We had him on our show once and is overdue. And I'm so excited that our plans got matched up. So we have the Vern from Cinema Recall on this show. Hello, Vern.
Hello. Good to see and hear all of you. And yes, I am your evil set spot, the Vern. That's right. All right. I'm your pleasure model 5000. All right. For everyone, all the ladies out there and everything. That's right. I'm here with my wonderful gents here. Ray, good to see you. Geo, I'm hoping to see Captain Chaos later on, and I got Robert here. Hello, hi.
Hello, it is so exciting. If for you out there, if you never heard the Cinema Recall podcast, what's wrong, right? If you like movies, you love that podcast. So you could pause us right now, go search for Cinema Recall. We are actually going to post a link to the episode where the Vern covered M3GAN. Great episode, by the way. We're going to put it in the show notes. But if you love cinema, you are going to love Cinema Recall. So I implore you to pause us and go find the Vern.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a heart, but it looks bad. It doesn't look like a heart at all.
It's really hard to do, I think.
It is. It's like it's a lung. I'm basically doing a lung, like a really bad lung with a tumor. All right, that's what I'm trying to do. So sorry, I was trying to do the heart. People can do that stuff.
A little bit of arthritis is all it takes to screw up the heart.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fellas, what have you been watching?
For those of you that are listening on the podcast, it was like a heart with arrhythmia. I love it.
Yes. I'm sure.
So I guess I'll start, right? I am still listening to Murderbot on Audible. And I have to say thanks to the person who actually commented on our YouTube video because I was born yesterday, I guess. I did not know that was that show is being created from a book. So I am really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait for that show to start. Now, if you're curious, just go on our feed on our YouTube channel, subscribe, and you'll see a reaction video that we did to the trailer Murderbot. And that's pretty much what started everything. So I'm really enjoying that book.
I just heard about the show because it's coming to Apple TV, and the premise does sound intriguing. I had no idea that it was based on a book, so I am curious now to go actually look up that book and read it or listen to it because I do need to get back to my Audible.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I'm doing Audible because that's all I can do right now.
Sure.
I just read it in while I work. So what I like about that is the person who does the voice, the narration for the book. It's I can visualize. I think he's doing a great job because I can visualize the robot from the trailer. He has that sarcasm right on, right on, and it's awesome.
This is like about a security bot who's been programmed to, I guess, protect things and all. Instead of like wanting to kill you, it's a robot that is like not trusting the human race and whatnot, but all it wants to do is like watch soap operas. I just read a small blurb about it, so I'm not really quite sure what it's about. But I think it's about a robot commenting on the human race.
Yeah.
As it would be, but very cool.
Another thing. I'm sorry.
No, it sounds very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that one, especially after that trailer. I'm also watching. This is a short film called Coelestis, and I hope I am not destroying that. I do apologize to the writer and director. It is a very short sci-fi film that I have so much stuff to say. Oh my God. So it is possible that we'll be doing an episode on that pretty soon. So I'm really enjoying that.
I think it's pronounced Coelestis.
Coelestis. Thank you. Of course, I have been watching again Levels. And just if you're not familiar with this, you probably did not listen to our previous episode. Go ahead and download it, Levels. Like I said on our Discord, if you're a sci-fi fan, this is a requirement. I love that movie so much. And I don't know if you guys, Ray or Chaos, if you continue rewatching this and if you still feel the same as when we recorded that episode, but man, I love that movie.
Levels.
He's good.
Levels, yeah. We had the writer and director on our show on a previous episode.
Oh, very cool.
It's an example of the amazing things you can do with very little in the way of funding.
Yes.
I think that the most important thing that really Levels touched on, and that it's a takeaway. Matrix doesn't have a monopoly on alternative realities. So if you haven't watched it, everybody watching this and listening, do yourself a favor and go and check it out.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Of course, I am rewatching again, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but I am rewatching Video Game High School. It's a TV show.
Video Game High School.
Video Game High School. It's an old
What? Is it like one of those web novels in YouTube?
No. This is an actual production.
Okay.
It's a. I don't know what the funding was, but it deals. It's borderline sci-fi, right? Because this is like in a future where there's a high school for gamers. So everybody that goes there, you can pick your special. You could be like, I'll just do farming games, and there's a class for that, or shoot 'em ups, and there's a class for that, and then you deal with like the equipment that you need to be a gamer, and and you take the classes there. It's really, really cool, and I think as a gamer, I think that's why I love it so much. But it's borderline sci-fi because the stuff that happens there is not your normal everyday. This is kind of like what you would see in the future, right?
Hey, don't say that, because I mean, as I know schizophrenic people that would tell you that stuff is sci-fi because what they see is not real.
And with that, moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next one. I'm loving, and I say loving to the point of maybe I think Gio put it correctly in our Discord, to the point of being a addicted.
You're a simp.
Yeah, reborn as a space mercenary.
Yeah, Robert kind of like when he finds a new series, he has no restraints.
No, I don't. I bought the entire manga collection, and I am on book number 4 right now. This thing is freaking amazing. And right now, what the last thing that happened, and for all of you other who are actually are reading the manga, they are talking about an anime coming soon. So that's coming, right? But the scene where I'm in is, the protagonist is on the termine system, and the Verbellum system decided to send military personnel to invade. And so he single-handedly took care of the invading force. And by the time the Termain army came in, it was basically to mop up because it was already done. And that was freaking epic. Love it. So yeah, it's reborn as a space mercenary, the manga.
Are you sure, Robert, that is not a main character OP our farming thing?
Well, to give you a like perspective, right?
Solo mercenary.
His name is Hero, and what happened is,
Of course it is.
he was, yeah, of course it is. He was in well, his real name is not Hero. It's at this point I forgot his Japanese name because
that's probably some ironic reference to being a hero.
No, it's not ironic. Let me explain. It's not ironic. Let me explain. His name is a Japanese name. I forgot because he said it in the first book, but he kind of like refuses to repeat it. So basically, what he said, office workers. If you know what Japanese office workers are, you feel sorry for them. He just works all day, and when he goes home, the only relaxation he have is this game called Soul. So in this game, he created a character, and because he wants to be a hero, he named that character Hero. So fast forward in the story, he got isekai'd. If you don't know what that means, Ray, can you explain what isekai is for our audience?
Isekai is direct translation is another world. So basically, you end up somehow in another world, being reincarnated or transferred or body swapped or what have you, whatever method, doesn't matter. You end up in another world.
It just sounds like some sort of like it sounds like some sort of like Kiki Setsat that.
It's some kind of. I would say that isekai is very interconnected to escapism because it's always related. That's why it has become a verb, Vern. But sure. So you got isekai is because basically, in order for you to be an isekai, you have to get killed by something very abruptly and then wake up in this other life. Isekai already became a verb because if you get the verb done to you. So if I get isekai, that means you got killed in some way or brutal manner, like a truck or a train, and then he woke up some other place.
You don't have to die. You don't have to die. If you look at Overlord, the anime.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He didn't die. He just got translocated when the servers shut down. He was still in the game. Yeah. And if you look
I just want someone to say, "Will you please touch my Ishika?" Or please, will you like lick up my Ishika, pretty please? All right. Yeah.
So basically, that's what happened. He woke up in the ship, and he already has he has the ship that he paid for with all with all the power. So he's like overpowered already. And that translated to this world where he's like super, super powerful. So yeah, that's all I have done for this week, sci-fi related.
Very cool. I love that.
That's all. That's a shit ton from somebody who's always talking about being so busy working.
Yeah. I'll be quick with mine. Okay. I watched some Pluto. I watched Devil May Cry, and I play a little bit of Cyberpunk 2077. And everything else is actually non-sci-fi related history videos and stuff like that.
All right, Gio, you were playing the Cyberpunk 2077 on our Discord, weren't you? You were streaming it.
Yeah, I think so.
You're muted, Gio.
Yeah, I was. I started a new campaign.
So if Gio's had a lot of experience playing Cyberpunk 2077, so if you're at all keen on the game but you have any questions, you could always join our Discord and catch up with Geo when he's playing and ask him questions. He's always happy to help out other players who are keen on such an awesome game.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Okay.
What about you, Vern? What have you been watching this week that's sci-fi related?
I have a few, actually. Well, I'm going to start with I recently picked up the 4K version of Akira.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Wow, absolutely astounded. Now, I own the movie on Laserdisc for many years. That was my only version of that movie was Laserdisc. And then I know they made like a DVD special edition that came out early 2000, which was good, but I hated the new English dub because it just sounded weird. It didn't sound like the English dub that I'm used to. So I picked up this new steel case, 4K. I should have grabbed it, but I'm not going to right now. But the colors in that 4K version are astounding. Just absolutely just it's like brand new. It's freaking amazing how good the colors are on that. And still a great movie, still holds up. But it has both the 1988 English dub and like the 2012 or 11 English dub, as well as the original Japanese version, all in 5.1 Dolby surround sound. And I swear, this new 4K cut, there is a scene, it's like during the motorcycle chase, where you can hear both the sound effects and the music score that goes on in the feature, and it's really cool stuff.
Nice.
And then after that, I did for Star Wars Day, May 4th, I was going to rewatch Star Wars A New Hope because I do that, or I watch one of the whole trilogy. I found on YouTube the original 1981 radio drama adaptation of Star Wars, the first one, A New Hope, and it's good. It's over 5 hours long, but it goes into so much other detail that wasn't in the movies. In this radio drama, you get to find out how Leia got to be on the ship that got taken over by Darth Vader. And there's a lot more backstory with Luke Skywalker and a lot of his friends that you see show up at the end of the movie. Because you know when they're about to go into the Death Star and he's reunited with like Briggs and a bunch of other people. Well, in the audio drama, you get to know more about Luke's backstory and
he actually gets to Tashi Station. Yeah, I have it. I have the audio drama.
Yeah, it's
he actually
good.
gets to Tashi Station, which he never talks about in the movie.
Yeah, so I found it to be a really kind of fun. I can't wait to actually go and listen to Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And it feels like I'm what's the word here? I'm sort of like re-witnessing the movies for the first time because a lot of it is new cast members doing Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. I think the only person they had that returns to the movies is Anthony Daniels that does C-3PO, and I think one other person that I can't think of right now. Maybe Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. I'm not quite sure. And then the last thing that I'm doing, because I'm watching this to prep for a future episode of Cinema Recall, I'm going to be having on Phil from Making Tarantino podcast, and him and I are going to be talking about the film Barbarella, the Jane Fonda feature that I know you guys covered with Nikki from Dear Nikky.
Yes, it was.
It was such an awesome episode.
That was a great one too.
I think we need to have an episode with Vern and Nikki on at the same time. I think that could.
Hell yes!
Yeah, I would love that. Well, I think a nice little like sexploitation sci-fi film that we'll find for us to watch. But
hell yeah!
So
I've already done Nikki, Space Truckers, so that's not going to work.
I just got something to say, Nikki. If you're listening to this, just because you're hot stuff, don't think that we're not gonna get you again here.
Oh no!
Yes.
Very nice.
We're gonna have it back. Yep.
But that's kind of it for what I've been doing with like sci-fi. I don't know about you, Ray. You got anything? Sci-fi
I had a fairly busy sci-fi week. Thanks to Adam Stern, our guest from last week, who was the writer director of Levels. he let me know that finally they did a sequel to USS Callister on Black Mirror. And USS Callister we have covered. It's in our back catalogue.
Oh, yeah,
Gio and
sure.
I did that because Robert couldn't deal. It's a bit of a psychological thriller, and it's a bit it covers some ground that's a little bit icky.
Have you watched the sequel yet?
Sorry?
No.
Have you watched the new
yes.
season of Black Mirror? All right.
Not so much the new season, but I watched the episode which is a sequel to USS Callister.
Oh, okay. Don't spoil anything because I have not seen that yet. I don't have Netflix.
Okay.
So it's called USS Callister Into Infinity, and it basically continues the story on from where the first episode ended up. So they sort of left it open, and the sequel follows on. And I just got to say that it's dark, but in different ways.
Okay.
They went in different directions. There's still like digital person exploitation going on. I was like, wow, this is dark, but wow, this is also epic. The writing was really tight.
Sure.
The visual effects were amazing. Like it just kicks the shit out of like the first trilogy of Star Wars for visual effects.
Oh wow.
It was dark, but it was humorous as well.
Oh, sure.
There was a lot of British players playing Infinity, the game that it's based around, and they were really funny. Cracking me up.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by Black Mirror, the new season. I think they have some of like the best writers out there. I think creator Charlie Booker has just done an amazing job with that series, and that's the only reason why I want to keep Netflix is because of that show. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't bother with it. And I really wish they would release seasons of Black Mirror on physical media because I want to watch that show. I don't want to support the show, but I don't much like what the CEO of Netflix has to say about movie theaters and everything like that. So I might kind of give him a giant middle finger. But I still love what they put on the show. So yeah, the CEO of Netflix, yeah, that's for you. Saying you want to stop movies from coming to theaters, all right? Yeah, sorry, no, but otherwise, good job. You know, I'll do like a middle finger, thumbs up type of thing. Like middle finger having sets with thumbs that you can see here on the YouTube. They're like loving each other, and yeah, so.
So Robert was asking me while I was watching it, do you think I could watch this? And I'm going, well, I think so, yes, because they really balance the dark elements with comedy elements. So it was they rode the fine line, they rode the knife's edge, and so it created a really tight story. It was really entertaining. It was dark. It delved into some really interesting ideas about how what are your rights around your personality, basically.
Okay.
The twist at the end was pretty cool too. So I think maybe they'll do a third one, possibly. I'd be interested to see that because there's still some unresolved issues, shall we say. So I highly recommend it.
I am curious though. I mean, that's probably the only thing you've seen from the season. But do you have a favorite episode of Black Mirror overall, Ray?
Well, probably that one right now. USS Callister Into Infinity. Like, I can't give it more props than that.
I have to.
See,
yeah, Gio will have to watch it because he watched the first one with me and we covered it on the show.
I watched it after the fact.
Did you?
Yeah, and it was.
I thought you were watching it and you couldn't get all the way through.
Well, I watched it with my wife, and we managed to get all the way through.
Right.
And we thought it was.
So, what did you think?
It was really good. It was really good.
Let's just say that if you thought that was good, this one's even better.
Okay, good. So we're gonna watch it with my wife then.
The second part feels a lot more Guardians of the Galaxy, actually.
Nice.
Ooh.
But they really did a good job on it. I can't give it give it more props than that. Of course, a movie that I like even more than that, I watched Alita Battle Angel again just because why not?
Oh, so good.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, why
Robert
not?
Rodriguez. Yeah, good film.
And the reason I watched that is because I have been reading in inverted commas, because I get an AI to read it to me while I'm doing other things. But I've been going through an Alita Battle Angel story called Ghost in the System, written by a friend of mine who lives in the US. His name's Lee Lemon. And he's working on chapter 29 at the moment. So there's 28 chapters out. And it's over 250,000 words. So he's put a lot of time and effort into this sucker, and it's very good. It, like I was saying with the USS Callister, riding the knife edge between dark and humor to sort of even things out. Ghost in the System has like the backdrop of the Alita Battle Angel story, and it actually occurs during that 2-month period with the movie skips right at the end between when Hugo dies and Alita joins First League, right at the end of the movie. And in that time, the character that Lee has introduced into the story, his name is Jason. He's actually from the year 2022. He got hit by a temporal anomaly and got catapulted into Alita's future. I won't go into any more details, but you find that out in the first chapter. So.
And you know what we were talking about isekai before? That's a good example of being isekai somewhere else.
Yes, he was seriously isekai, and I won't tell you why. You find out in chapter 22, but I won't tell you why. I don't want to spoil it. But basically, this character has clinical depression, PTSD, and what else? What was the other one? But he's basically got some mental illnesses, which were being treated by the Veterans Association. He's ex-US Air Force. He was being treated by the Veterans Association psychiatrists, so he was pretty stable. But of course, in Iron City in the year 2652, they don't have the Veterans Association. In fact, they don't have psychiatrists. Because if you've got mental illnesses, you probably just end up dead.
I mean, what time is based this? 1950s? You got lobotomies, you have shock in the temple. You got medicine, man. Come on.
No. This is 2652. It's not 1950s. But
okay.
basically, Lee has inserted this character into the story, and it's an examination of mental illness and how, when it's no longer medicated and controlled, how it can affect a person, a good person. Like the character's a good person. He does a few things which, a good Christian person would do, trying to save somebody he doesn't even know, and ends up getting torn to pieces because of it, basically, by a rogue cyborg. But it is dark in places, and it does examine what goes on in the mind of somebody who is suffering from mental illness, and is no longer medicated. And the guy, he's in his 50s. He knows he's got the problem, and he's doing everything he can to deal with it. But it's an illness. It's not something he has control over. So and Ito and Alita are doing what they can to help him, and it's really well written. It takes a little bit of getting into. The first few chapters are a little bit heavy on the mental illness side, and it sort of drags down a little bit. But once it gets going, I mean, it's a fantastic story. And I've read, in inverted commas, about 20 chapters in a week. So I'm really getting stuck into it. And if you want to look it up, it's on fanfic.net and Archive of Our Own. It's called Ghost in the System, an Alita Battle Angel story by Lee Lemon, and I highly recommend it. And in fact, if you go to Creek Indian's YouTube channel, Creek Indian Alita Army, the very last Alita live stream, which is now on his channel as a recording, Lee reads the first 3 chapters.
Oh, nice.
Of his own work. So, it has that emotional nuance of the writer. So that was particularly good. I was there on that stream, and it was very good. So I highly recommend that. To get into the story, have a listen to that live stream recording, and you'll be able to listen to the story read by the writer in his own words.
So is this like the story that I need to, read the whole Maidna before I can read this, or can I just watch the movie and still follow the storyline of this?
Yeah, watch the movie and you'll be good. He does reference stuff from the manga, but you don't have to be a manga aficionado like I am to understand it. It's pretty straightforward.
Well, very cool. Thank you.
I've also got into now. I call this sci-fi because there's some weird happenings going on which are out of the ordinary. But I don't know. Gio might say that it's not sci-fi. It's called "Hope You're Happy, Lemon." It's a manga about a guy who has his soul crushed by his girlfriend, now his ex-girlfriend, who was his childhood friend, but she cut ties with him. She broke up with him on the graduation day of middle school, saying that she cheated on him with 3 other guys. And then
I was the second one.
Were you?
I was. Yeah, that's right. High five 1, bam. High five 3, bam. That's right. We're gonna smash this girl, and then we're gonna lie with her boyfriend about it. That's right.
She was 15 at the time.
Oh shit! No.
Right to jail right away.
Oh well.
Somebody call the FBI, please.
FBI.
Never mind. Wait. That wasn't me. Oh crap!
Dug yourself a hole there, didn't you, Vern?
Oh well, nice.
The graduation day of middle school.
Oh,
middle school.
What are you doing watching these shows about preschool or preteens getting involved with each other?
What you've got to realize is that this is the setup to the story. So the story actually happens while the guy's at university. So he's like 18.
Okay. Oh, that's not.
But he's given up on love because this girl, who was his childhood friend and his first girlfriend, crushed his heart by
all girls
breaking up with him at the end, at the graduation of middle school, saying, "I cheated on you with 3 other guys."
Well, at least you waited to the graduation party to tell him this.
And then she walks out of his life. She goes off to a different high school than him, and they don't see each other. They bump into each other when he's at university, and he finds out that they're living in the same apartment building. And she's going to another university, and he's falling. Like, he's finally decided to give love another chance because he's falling for a girl who's one year older than him, who's in his club at the university, the Movie Appreciation Club. So it turns out that this girl, Lemon, had lied to him about cheating on him. God knows why she did that. We still don't. Well, I'm only up to like chapter 5, but we still don't know by chapter 5 why she broke up with him. If she was lying about the cheating, but I just hate her character. I absolutely hate her character because she makes so light of what she did to him. Like, it's just, oh, you still think you still remember that? It's like, bitch, you don't do that. He was your childhood friend. He's supposed to mean something to you. He was your boyfriend, your first boyfriend, and you did that to him, and he's supposed to just forget about it.
What she was doing is teaching her friend to have a tougher skin. I mean, that was probably like his only first love. All right, was her, and that's all that he knew about was just her. So she was just basically telling her friend, "Hey, guy, you gotta get thicker skin. Women are gonna break her heart all the time. All right, you're lucky that it's just me, your best friend, and you can learn from this." And just get a little more confidence on yourself, right there, buddy. Be a stronger man.
You're pushing shit uphill with this explanation, dude. She broke up with him. She broke ties with him and walked away from him, and they hadn't seen each other for years.
Oh well, and he has probably with any other girl, has he? Because he's just been pining over this one girl the whole time.
You
No,
see,
he just gave up on
Ray,
love.
Ray like reading that stuff. I didn't make it past the first panel when I read that piece of shit person she is. I was like, yeah, I don't need to read this.
I have to ask, right?
Mhm.
Is she worse than Mammy?
Yes.
She is?
Yeah, I don't need to
Yes.
read this shit.
Holy crap. I hate Mammy.
Shame on you,
Yeah.
Ray,
A lot of people do.
blowing. Shame on you for blowing your one chance to invest me in waste of time reading crap.
Well, why it
You,
gets sci-fi?
you did a clean slate with a rent a girlfriend and you dump it all on Robert, and I accepted that, and you just threw it all away, and I didn't make it past one panel of the
I,
manga.
I don't simp for Rent a Girlfriend. My God, no. But no, the whole thing is that turns out that the girl that this guy's falling for, the senpai, the older girl, her roommate is this ex-girlfriend of his, Lemon.
Mm.
So not only is he like bumped back into this girl that absolutely crushed his heart, but and doesn't think anything of it, but the girl he's finally opening his heart to is roommates with his ex-girlfriend. And then the weird sci-fi shit is the next morning he wakes up in Lemon's body and they've swapped bodies.
Oh, great!
Oh boy.
And he's like, the fuck am I supposed to do? For starters, she's smarter than him. She's going to a much higher level university than him. So he's got to go to her classes. And he's got to fake in front of the girl that he's got a crush on that he's actually her friend. And hilarity ensues, of course, because it's supposed to. This is a rom-com after all. But then the next day they swap back. So on odd days they're themselves. On even days they're the other person.
So this is a series?
Yes. There's like 62 chapters. You can read it. You can read it for free, but you know you can only look at each chapter once. This is the thing on I think it's called Manga Plus.
Okay.
Manga Plus is the app that you can read it on. It has a lot of stuff on it. It has Kaiju number 8 and all those sorts of awesome mangas.
Well, my favorite thing is like listen to read the stories about women that break, men's hearts. Yeah, that's.
Oh, you'll like this one, but there's more twists. She's still got a thing for him.
Oh.
So she's crushing on him and swapping bodies with him. He's crushing on the roommate, and he still really dislikes Lemon.
Right. I think Vern is gonna love Mommy from Data Girlfriend.
Oh yeah. Mommy was horrible. But at least Mommy had her reasons. I don't even know what the reasons are for this girl. Like it's just like they haven't told me yet. So I gotta keep reading to find out. Bastards.
Who knows what those animals want?
It's a good question. Anyway, I probably chewed up enough time. We probably should get on with the show, huh?
Well, and Vern, I don't know if you know, but Ray is a freaking amazing author himself.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be intrigued if you have any stories or things for me to read. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to check that out. Speaking of which, I do have an author that I want to tell you about, a sci-fi author that I want to introduce you guys to at the end of the show. So, because I think he'd be a great person to have and talk to.
Nice. So I just figure I mentioned that so you can be on the lookout because once his book is out, we are doing an episode on here. So
nice. Okay. Well,
it won't be a short book. I'm up to chapter 18 and it's over 100,000 words already. So
very nice.
Won't be short.
I would be more than happy to take a look at it too when you're done writing it. How much longer do you have left?
It's a good question. Probably end up about 30 chapters. So I've probably got 12 to go.
Very cool. Hey,
but that'll only be the first volume. It's an extensive story.
Oh, geez. Wow. That is amazing. I'm so impressed of like people that can like build worlds and put things together. I can't even put together a shopping list. So the fact that write stuff and make these intricate characters and worlds like that. It's just I'm in awe of you, Ray.
Yeah. Wait until you get into the story. It's it's freaking amazing.
Oh, very cool.
Okay, so are we ready?
You haven't even seen him wearing makeup, bro.
What the heck?
Is that okay?
I'm lost.
Makeup? I'm so confused now.
You're not alone, Vern. You're not alone. Okay, so I guess we're ready for the next segment. So let's kick it off. We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are Monorats.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable and Open Pike Night.
This is SciFi.
And if you're new to the show, this is a segment where we highlight the hashtag This is SciFi. So here's how to use it. You're a fan of sci-fi. Go into the This is SciFi hashtag in any of your socials and follow it. If you're a creator, if you're a fan, you have that one thing you love, that one thing you created, your baby. You're already posting about it. All you got to do is add the hashtag This is SciFi to the end and share with the world. So all the other fans that are following the hashtag, there's a couple of things that could happen, right? One, you'll have someone that will be exposed to that one thing you love that would normally not be exposed to. And you could either have a new fan to that thing that you love or that thing that you created, or have someone that already enjoys that thing that you love and you have a new friend. So this one was created basically back in our season 1, when I was actually going online on socials and trying to find a collective sci-fi community, and I couldn't find one. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of communities out there, right? There you have this, just to give you some examples, there's a Star Trek, there's Star Wars, Babylon 5, all this different IPs have their communities with their hashtag, but I couldn't find one where there was a collective of all the sci-fi. So basically all that is follow and post to the hashtag This is SciFi, and we all actually collectively join the group, join the conversation, and all talk together about the thing that you love, about the thing that you created. In addition, what we do also is we post about scientific discoveries or anything in science, because if we all, for all of you there who will listen to the show, who love sci-fi, you know that sci-fi is a thought experiment. And it is taking societal issues or technological advances and putting it to a lens and experiment, and through a thought experiment, how would that work? How would that be? How would they use it on the normal, everyday life of people, and come up with solutions to issues? So it is kind of nice when we discover things in science that is kind of like a reflection of what happens in sci-fi, where it actually mirrors, not mirrors, but it actually blurs the lens between what is science fiction and what is actually science.
Oh.
So yeah, I welcome everybody to use the hashtag This is SciFi whenever you want to post anything, if you're a creator or if you're a fan as well. So before we move on, I believe, and before I forgot too, you could share your love if you're a creator or if you're a fan on our hotline. Yes, we do have a hotline. The hotline is 1-305-563-6334. So basically what you do there is you do exactly what you would do on your post. You will leave a message about that one thing you created, why you love it so much, why is it so important, and if you're a fan, you have a lot to talk about that thing. So just leave a message in there, and with your permission, we will play that message on our next episode and have a conversation around it. So just remember, this is SciFi.
And Robert, what's the name of that phone number once again for our listeners and viewers at home?
Yeah, the phone number is 1-305-563-6334. And Ray, you have something to add to the This is Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I do, because for some strange reason, Google Chrome on my iPad throws up all these awesome sciencey things at me. I don't know why it does it. It just started doing it one day.
No.
I guess they're picking my brain while I sleep or something. So this is one that popped up just yesterday. Of course, it's from it was reported in April, so it's a little bit, it's like a month old, but. Made in Canada, fusion breakthrough could change the future of global energy. Now, I don't know how much our listeners know about the chase for fusion energy, but of course, fission energy, which is what we have at the moment, is the breaking of atoms, which creates a lot of energy, but also creates a lot of nuclear waste, which is bad news. So what we actually would prefer is fusion, which is combining small atoms to make bigger ones, which also creates a lot of energy, but doesn't create nuclear waste. It creates bigger atoms. So it doesn't make as big a mess, which is why it is preferred. But of course, it's very tricky because basically we're trying to replicate what happens inside of a star, which, as you could probably guess, on the surface of the Earth at temperatures that don't vaporize us immediately, is tricky.
So I am curious, Ray, on the back of the DeLorean, is that a Mr. Fusion or Mr. Fission?
It's a Mr. Fusion, I believe. Fusion, yes. I'm pretty sure it was a fusion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Because if it was a Mr. Fission, he'd be leaving nuclear blast in his wake. That would be bad.
That would be okay. Thank you. I see the clarification about that. So
that would be it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Fusion from memory. So having given you that little rundown, I'll just go to here. So on December 23rd, 2022, a historical breakthrough occurred when scientists at the US National Ignition Facility at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory achieved fusion ignition for the first time. Although it's still a long road towards making practical use of fusion across sectors, scientists consider it a valuable, affordable, clean, renewable energy source and are working steadily towards making it a day-to-day reality.
That is
with 20 years of research dedicated to designing the science around LM2, crafting a machine, the machine only took 16 months to build. Dr. Michael Landberg, founder and chief science officer of General Fusion, explained the mechanics behind the project. We built 24 plasma injectors, created over 200,000 plasmas, and generated fusion neutrons from plasma compressions, de-risking LM26 and preparing us for a new chapter in General Fusion.
Wow.
We're ready to make fusion happen in LM26.
We are living in a sci-fi world, people.
Totally.
This is freaking amazing.
I'm waiting for that flux capacitor. Now we got the fusion to be more ready available. I'm waiting for the flux capacitor. All right. I want to go back and steal that damn almanac from Trump so we don't get this damn timeline. All right. So we're on the right track to make sure that time travel is happening. So I get out this goddamn time bad. We're like to the bad 1985 for 20. Oh my gosh, 2025, 1985. All right. We're like the weird sort of like time crunches on here, folks, and we're like in a bad timeline. Like the timeline got skewed, and we're now like this alternate 2025. All right, I need to go back to 1985 and steal the sports almanac back from Trump so we can get back to the right 2025. All right.
Oh dear!
Come on, Marty. Well, come on, Ray.
Let me know how that goes.
Captain Chaos. Let's get back to the future, Captain Chaos. Let's do this. All right.
Marty, we've got to go back to the future.
Wait up. Let me go and grab my tinfoil hat.
What happens in the future? Oh, nothing happens to you, but it's your kids, Marty. We got to do something about your kids.
Oh wow.
What, Dad? Do we become assholes?
That's
or
actually the
something?
quote we used at the start of that episode.
Yep. Nice. Okay. So I guess we are ready for the next segment.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Did I get him? I think I got him this time.
You did. He's muted, so he can't
I
reply.
got him this
No,
time.
you didn't get me. You didn't get me because the video didn't play on my side. So, I mean, thank you, internet lag. And for this episode, I wanted to start by mentioning we mentioned before a mysterious person that's been engaging in our comments on YouTube, and I think it's worth mentioning. Reese's Packer 7993 is our YouTube MVP. Thank you for the engagement again, man. You're awesome. And I wanted to mention two new members that we have in our Discord server where all the fun is always happening. Keymite 0792 and Adam Stern.
Yes.
That's all for today.
I know that name from somewhere. Where do I know that name from,
I
Jim?
know that name from somewhere too. Where do
He's a writer director, isn't he? Of a little movie called Levels?
Yes.
Awesome.
If you haven't watched Levels, what's wrong with you? Go watch it.
Guys, come on. There's more to than a director to it. He's our friend.
Yeah, I would have to say, Adam, if you're listening to us, thank you so much. You make our day when you join our Discord. So thank you so much.
Yeah. We'll make sure to make it weird and scare you off.
I am sending
is
you
that
right
how you
now
do it?
a weird
Is that it?
tumor heart there, Adam, to know that
Cinema Rico's heart.
also
The
are
bird's
there.
heart.
That's right. That's my heart for you, okay? All right, just trying to do this. All right, that's a butt. I'm sorry, that's a butt. That's not. I don't know what that.
Put your hands down.
Nice.
That's a butt for bros here, okay? Because we could be bros.
Yeah.
Talking about butts and stuff there. Yeah,
Fist bump.
that's right.
So are we ready for the next segment? Are we?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the next segment is
The Alita Army News.
He just loves doing that. One of his favorite things to do. So this week on, actually, I should also mention, and I did it earlier, that the Alita live stream, which is on 23 hours before Radio Chaos, on Creaky News channel, we had the reading of Ghost in the System by Lee Lemon. So that was really fun. And then following that, we didn't actually have a live recording. It was it wasn't a live stream. It was a recording because Creaky had to go off to a wedding, so he wasn't available to run the stream. So we recorded it ahead of time. So we had a live chat, but the recording was of Gumu Fallen Angel. And Gumu stands for Gundream, which is actually the Japanese title of Battle Angel Alita, the manga. And it was Gumu Fallen Angel, The Thousand Faces of Madness, Fight for Revolution. So we're getting to the pointy end of the original manga, where Alita has fought off an attack by copies of herself created by Zalem / Tafaris to basically replace her because they're more controllable. And she did actually manage to win that fight with a bit of help from her handler, Lou, who now is in a lot of trouble for what she did. But Alita, missing an arm, an eyeball, and a foot, has gone off to arrest Destinova at the Granite Inn, which is the old NORAD base from back in the days when the USA existed in this storyline. And Chaos went there before her. Chaos is actually Nova's son, and that didn't go well. And now he's been captured by his father, who isn't against experimenting on his progeny. So he could be in for a world of hurt. But Alita has now shown up for the showdown between herself and the mad scientist Destinova. So that should be interesting.
I have to ask why chaos? What chaos did to Hugo, come on. I just found out that you are the son. Really?
What?
Huh? Hugo?
Do you
Chaos.
want that I'm the what?
Chaos is the son of who?
Destiny
Oh,
Nova.
okay. Okay.
I'm sorry. I had to put that in there. Sorry.
Not our chaos, their chaos. There's a lot
No,
of chaos around. You should know that.
I'm glad that he didn't try to refer in any
there's
kind
a
of
Captain
way.
Chaos, not just Chaos. Captain Chaos is
Yes.
our captain.
There's a
Yeah,
difference between
I'm just glad he didn't try to infer that I'm related to Ugo in any kind of way.
No, I said, what did you do to Hugo? Because you're the son.
I mean, no, I mean, I didn't have to do anything to that piece of shit. Somebody poop it. He's where he belongs, in the sewer.
The love shows. The love
it
shows.
does. It really does.
Honestly, I think that it's a shame that the way that he died, it was kind of bland because he was disconnected from his body, so he didn't get to feel really his body getting ripped apart.
Vern,
Ellie,
you seen the movie, right?
what, Battle Angel? Alita Battle Angel? Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about Hugo.
Good man.
Hugo. Okay. Yes. I do remember that, Hugo.
You can tell.
I mean,
loves
Vern, imagine
Yeah.
that you're going out with the woman of your life, and she just confesses to you that she steals people's spines, and she wanted to steal yours.
Wait, is it the girl from The Substance? Margaret Qualley? Is she still in my, spinal fluid or someone else's spinal fluid? I don't know.
No. Hugo, the boy that got killed, he literally used to steal people's spine, like kill people, literally. He said that he didn't kill them, but like, do you think that who's gonna survive getting their spine getting pulled out of their? That's what the guy did for a living. He literally just robbed people of their movement, and they lived to die. It's shit.
He's a bad guy, but people can change. People can have a way to make things better, I guess.
Oh, you can bet.
it's-
No pun intended. He changed a lot of people.
That's true. Yes, that's true. You did change the people there. Oh. Well, hey, Ray, let me ask you this because you're reading the story there. Are you going to be, reading chapters of your book for this? For the show?
Well, those shows, Radio Chaos and the Alita livestream are dedicated to the IP Alita Battle Angel.
That's fair, but
Battle
I'm
Angel
saying
Alita. So
you should do your own IP for your own book right there too. Have like each chapter, be it series, have like sort of like a web series or something like that there too for your book.
It's good word for that. It's good enough for that.
Oh yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It might end up on Audible, and then everybody can listen to it.
Well, sweet.
And then a manga, and then probably an anime.
Yeah, but
Gio's going to draw the manga for me. He says.
Yeah.
I'm only going to buy the Audible if the sexy voice of Ray is in there. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. I want to have Ray's voice. Ray, you wrote the book. You got to do the audio book for it. So.
I never thought I would hear Robert use the word sexy and Ray's voice in the same sentence. I'm flabbergasted.
Well, I'm gonna say Ray. I want to hear Ray's sexy voice too. All right. So there.
Ray. My Siri has the Australian guy's voice, but I think it's you every time I hear it.
Oh wow. Okay, so are we ready?
Moving on.
Moving
on. Quick, let's go.
Ray, I'm assuming your segment is over. Do you have anything else to add before we move on?
Nope. Let's go.
No, he'll talk about Alita forever if you let him.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll talk about Alita forever. Okay, so I don't know if I'm ready for this, and I think I want to start the show about telling you guys my experience. Right? I was kind of like just like everybody else. I was exposed to the trailers and when M3GAN came up and into 2022, and I was engrossed with the conversation and what everybody was saying online. I was not seeing the movie yet. I did listen to the Burns, episode on Cinema Recall, and which, by the way, if you guys have not listened to that one, I was in tears. I actually played it for Geo too, but I was.
Wait, Vern, how is that you kept on calling the movie? Because it takes so much effort to go out of your way the whole episode just to not call it M3GAN.
It's M3GAN. It's
M3GAN
is what I call it there.
I love it.
That was like one of the best takeaways of the episode. Every time that you said that, Robert and I just like crack out.
I need to re-listen to that because I don't remember what I said. I don't remember. It's a lot of times when I put episodes out, I put them out like usually a day or two after I watch the movie, just to give like my general reactions to a movie, just my thought vomit just comes out on microphone.
Just fresh.
Just fresh right there what I thought about the movie. So, and a lot of times movies have to marinate and they have to like grow as well as all film fans us do. We watch stuff and then we let stuff marinate in our mind, and we watch it again, and sometimes our opinions can change for a movie too. So
Yep.
I'm curious, Robert, is this like your first time watching M3GAN / M3GAN?
M3GAN.
Well, this is what I was getting into, right?
Sure.
If you listen to the show long enough, you know that I have a problem with horror movies. Let me explain. I can't watch horror movies. As a matter of fact, I used horror movies when I was young, when I had dates with girls, right? So I can watch them.
To get them to scream and cuddle you.
The movie, the music video, the music video trailer was made dedicated to Robert.
Oh God. So I watched, right? But the thing is, my reason, right? I love sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Life is short. Let's just watch things that I love, and the things that are meh, just leave it aside, right? So enjoy the most you can in the short life that we live. So whenever someone says horror, I'm put off automatically, right? I which is very odd. And if you listen to the show long enough, you can hear from Ray and Captain Chaos here. That statement doesn't make any sense when, in the other hand, I said I love Alien, I love Event Horizon. I mean, you guys have a list at this point of the stuff that I like that is horror sci-fi. But
Captain Chaos, Admiral Contradiction.
Exactly. So I think in part the Burns episode kind of like enticed me to kind of give it a chance, but I did.
No, this is your fault, Vern.
I don't. So wait, I don't know if there's a lot of way to say you didn't like the movie or you appreciate some parts of it or did like other parts. There's like
this is where you bow and say you're welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yes.
Well,
I was still on the fence, right? I was still on the fence. What actually brought me over?
Robert loved the movie.
What actually brought me over the fence was when I watched the trailer for M3GAN 2.0. I was like, whoa, okay, this might be not what I think it is. So I decided to watch. I didn't tell the guys anything.
You thought it was going to be Chucky, didn't you?
Well, I don't like Chucky. My entire family loves Chucky. I don't. So I watched it, and I was like, hold up a second. This is good. And I was like, that's when I reached out to Ray and Captain Chaos, and I said, guys, have you watched this film? I mean, I know it had a following back in 2022. Everybody was talking about this thing. And that's when you guys admitted that you guys have not watched this. So I said, okay, do me a favor. Watch the film, and please tell me it's just not me. You know, I was expecting you guys would come back and say, "Oh, this movie is not good," right? I want a validation at that point. I wanted to validate that the reason that I like this not just me, that in fact the movie is good. And if you listen to the show long enough, you know that we don't just record. Whenever we pick something to record, we all agree on. We rather not talk about something if we have negative things to say. So we just won't do it. So when they came back and said the movie was really good, I was like, oh my God, I feel better. It's not me. The movie is good. So before we get into the conversation, I don't know, Ray, do you have the plot by any chance?
Of course I do. I mean, I didn't have the plot last week, but I had the second best thing to the plot, and that is the author. So, you know.
So I just
when you've got the writer, you don't need the plot. You just
exactly
get him to tell you what it's about. He knows you wrote it.
I just have to say that before we start the show, because I wanted to put perspective that I chose not to watch this on purpose, and I was wrong. Only because the word horror was in the film.
I would remind everybody that we're about to spoil the crap out of this, so go and watch it if you haven't, because it is a good watch. I mean, it's not super horror. There's a bit of icky. There's a few icky bits.
Well,
things that might be a little bit creepy, but it's mostly sci-fi. So go watch it.
It's PG-13, but there is an unrated version, and that's what I watched, is the unrated version, because I went on my language and violence because I am a horror lover. I love horror. I love all the ickiness, gooiness of horror that it entails. If you ever do a show on The Substance, which has some sci-fi elements to it, though, I will gladly love to see a reaction of you guys watching The Substance, because that's an absolutely brilliant movie. But yeah, M3GAN, good stuff. I'm sorry, Ray. Continue.
So before I spoil the crap out of it with the plot, I want to do a little quiz here. These are always fun. So I'll give you some context, and then have any of you actually read what the budget was for this movie?
No.
And don't spoil. You haven't? Vern, you don't know what the budget is?
No.
Okay, cool. So you're all contenders for this, all right? Okay. So the quiz is guess the budget. I've done this before. It's always fun. So given that last week's movie, Levels, which is, graphically quite impressive, was only $2 million US, which, wouldn't cover the buffet table for lunch at a regular Hollywood movie.
I'm so shocked.
Yeah,
that movie
stunning.
Looked like it would cost that. It to me, it's on par with like 300 million.
Yeah, well, I would have gone for about 120 to 150.
Wow.
Based on Hollywood budgets, but Canada always does things for cheap, so you got to expect that. But at the bottom end, you've got an amazing movie like Levels for $2 million, which is chump change in Hollywood, and then you've got now it was one of the first movies you guys covered, and it won't come back to me.
2001
Gattaca.
The Mars one with the guy who's like a flea. Shit.
Wait. The Martian?
John Carter?
John Carter. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So John Carter was $350 million.
Yeah.
And it wasn't well spent, sadly.
John Carter, like that. Those millions too. You gotta think it's spent on some of the stars that are coming on that movie too, which are big names. There's more than 6-7 big stars in that movie.
Yeah. But it was a good movie, but it just doesn't feel like they got their money's worth. That was $350. Alita Battle Angel cost around 155, although the budget was 200, but they got cash back from various places where they filmed. So given, Alita Battle Angel's kind of in the middle, and then you've got $2 million for Levels. My God, that's a bargain. Wow. And then you've got $350 million for John Carter. Where do you think M3GAN lands? So we'll start with Rob. We'll start with Robert. Robert, what
Okay.
do you think the budget was?
I have no idea, but I'm going to throw a number out there.
Yep.
100.
Okay, sounds good. And Vern, what do you think? I'm pretty keen to get an answer.
So now I am just gonna say about 12 million.
Okay. And what about Gio? How much do you think it cost?
I'm torn to throw you in between 80 million or 140.
Okay, well, ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Vern is correct. 12 million.
Wow.
Whoa.
Shit. Wow.
You didn't look that up, did you?
I promise you, I
didn't
did not look up anything at all. I swear.
You
My
you
eyes
got
are
it
on the camera
exactly
here.
right.
That
Nice.
I was not expecting that at all. I thought that I was worried that I would go a little bit too high, be like around 6 million or so, but
Nice.
very
Wow.
yeah, 12 million makes sense.
He's
Being the
another.
fact of
he's
like
another-
I mean, the cool thing too is that a lot of like M3GAN's effects, a lot of them are done animatronically. Like her facial had to have like 3 different puppeteers to control her emotions and the way that her character reacts. And actors who have been on screen with that robot has said it is so freaky because it looks like a real human. That and you combine that technology with the face with the acting style of Amy McDonald. Or sorry, yeah, Amy Donald. She played the sort of like physical body of the robot in like long shots. And this girl is like only like 11 years old and did all of her own stunts. So the moment where she's like crawling like this like wild hyena creature, that's her. That dance move that she
That
does,
was such a great scene, man.
Yes.
all the flips and everything that is happening, that's not stunt double. That is like an 11-year-old girl doing this stuff, which I'm amazed by. Like all those fight sequences, that's her. That goes on there. But yeah, I think she's great at that. The whole cast of characters is great. And here's a movie that you know right away that this movie is sort of like a satire on toys and people relying on technology and whatnot. Right from that opening ad about those pets, because
Yep.
it was so brilliant for them to start the movie out that way with that fake commercial. And
Right.
that girl's like, I had a dog, he was my best friend, but he got hit by a truck.
Yeah.
He started dark right off the start.
No. Put it this way. Let me put it this way, Vern. I am freshly watched that movie today for the first time, and I watched it with Robert. And when we started the movie, we were doing a watch party, so we're watching along. We're both playing at the same time on our Apple TVs. And when
And
we
you were trying to skip the ad, weren't you?
Yes. I tell Robert like, oh shit, wait, like I'm not even realizing that I'm watching a bot movie on Apple TV. So I went right away. Oh, this is a commercial.
He told me, pause the movie.
I was like I like right away in my head. Oh, Robert has the movie, but I'm not thinking that the movie is bought in this side too. I'm thinking that is a streaming service right away. So when the commercials start, I tell Robert, "Oh, pass the movie your side because I got a commercial going on." And Robert is trying to tell me, I'm like, "No, there's a commercial, bro." And he's like, "No, wait, Gio." And I'm like, "Yo, just pause it. There's a commercial." And he tells me, "Gio, that's the movie, the commercial." And I'm like, "What, really?" And then I go like, "Pause." And then he's trying to explain to me, and I start to realize. So basically, the whole fact that the commercial was so out of the blues and funny as fuck threw me off so much that I stopped paying attention to the movie, and I thought it was a commercial. And I was just like discarded automatically, and I didn't know what was going on anymore. We literally had to go back to the commercial again for me to like catch on back again on it. It got me lost completely.
The whole thing they had those toys do, that is a lot what happened with toys in the 80s. The whole thing about having the toy poop out things, or having their, butt glow a different color. Whenever they released new toys, they had to add like a new thing to it to make the kids into it. But those virtual pets, those are kind of a cool little thing. You can like feed them with
Yeah.
your app, and it's a cool little toy. But the little girl, I don't want to say, she is Cady, played by
Cady,
Von
yeah.
McGraw. She is going on a trip to go visit her aunts, and her parents and her. It's a bad snowstorm, and while they're driving, the parents are arguing about how much time Cady should be spending on this toy. Bad snow's coming along. Cady drops her toy. She goes to take her seatbelt out to find her toy. Her mother gets really mad at her and gets her to put the seatbelt back on. And then all of a sudden, they get hit by the snow truck. And I don't know about you guys, but that's
in
probably
flames. In flames. They get hit by a snow truck in a snowstorm. In flames.
They got
Yeah.
they got isekai, man. They got isekai. It was a truck.
Yeah, they ended up in another world.
Confirm, you guys confirm this to me, because trust me, like I was busting out laugh as Robert and I are watching this. But I think that the formula is, and I think that they were very like they were very straightforward about it. Like they didn't try to dissimulate, but they grabbed like landmarks of filmography when it comes to horror movie and just threw it in there. Like they were like, you know what, we're not gonna be authentic with our scenes. You know what's coming, and you're gonna love it anyways. And then it just a spiraling horror movie scene just gets worse and worse and more intense.
Oh.
It's called horror movies. Yeah. 2 points.
God.
2 points. The first one is that it was sort of like an upgraded Furby.
Yes.
Remember the Furbies
Yeah,
back in the
remember
late
Furbies.
90s?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so it's like an upgraded Furby. And the now what was my other point? Damn it. I had 2 points. The Furby point and the
Yeah, I had Furbies in my house. They were freaky. Sometimes they were sleeping, and sometimes they started talking by themselves.
And the other thing is the topic with the doll, while Ray is trying to catch that thought. The topic with the doll, and like how like horrible adults. Like when you look at the movie, this is about horrible adults, and then the product that becomes of a kid, which is a terrible little Hellraiser, you know. But it's just like a vicious circle, because the woman, like when Robert and I are almost finishing the movie, and I go like, this chick, she is the bad guy of the movie. She's a horrible human being. And Robert goes like, wait a minute, and then he put it into perspective. I'm like, you're right, she's terrible.
Megan is actually the hero.
Are we talking about the sort of the aunt character in this?
Yes.
Gemma.
Alison Williams' Gemma. So here's kind of the fascinating thing about Gemma. So Gemma is this single career woman who has been working for this robotics company for many years. She's about to make a breakthrough on this new toy that basically will revolutionize toys as we know it. And she's been creating these virtual pets for like a while. And at the start of the movie, she is telling all of her crew members who her boss is Ronnie Shane from The Daily Show, which I thought was absolutely great that he's in this. But they've been putting into these little things inside these dolls that where these AI sentients can learn from their makers, and they're able to like communicate. And she wants to make this into a much better doll. And these are basically meant for kids who don't have much of, I guess they have like not have a strong social life. And so she wants to create this ultimate toy that binds with you. And here's a little girl who just lost her parents. All right. And I know that her aunt is not much into parenting. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't really know how to communicate with this little girl. So she's going to try to do her best by introducing this new type of toy to help her grieve through it. But the issue is that she need children need to find time to grieve.
Yes.
And I think Gemma does learn the mistake of her actions by having all this stuff being relied on this toy for her. So yeah, it's a cautionary tale very much not just because of AI running and controlling everyone's lives right there too. But also it's a cautionary tale for parents to be like, hey, I should take more action in what my kids are doing or become involved with. Because when there's a scene when she would need to take Mason back, and Cady just becomes like violent. She becomes violent to like the caseworker that's there to help them out, as well as with Gemma herself. Just she becomes so reliant on her. And there's that one great sequence when first of all, it's a little messed up to have her being used as a test subject, but I love the sequence when they're testing out M3GAN for all the CEOs, and Cady's crying, and Maiden's like, "Why are you crying?" Because she's like, "I miss my mom and dad," and that's when Gemma's like, "Holy crap! I didn't really expect this to happen."
Yes.
And the way that M3GAN saves her, but it saves Gemma's job by saying that I will store a memory that you have of your mom, and everyone's like crying. That's a moment that's both like heartwarming, but also very cheesy and campy. That's difficult not to laugh out loud at this. There are so many laugh out loud moments in this movie that I can't take it seriously at a horror film because it's not necessarily scary. They're going for such a camp level of silliness and satire that it just works brilliantly. And go ahead.
On that point, we have covered another movie that had the same sort of vibe, and it also started with a TV commercial. Can you guys remember what that movie was? Yes, I know there's been a lot of movies, but cast your minds back.
Wow.
It is a satire.
Idiocracy? Rando!
No, it wasn't Idiocracy.
No, it's
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. It is RoboCop. Good business is where you find it. That was my hint.
Not for $1.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a display of a true sci-fi fan right there.
So yes, Vern is 2-0 up on both of you for my quizzes.
Hey, for the record, I was not in that episode.
Nice.
I should probably do the plot before we go any deeper.
Yes, we are going.
Shot off of it. Okay, so after her parents are killed in a car accident, which we heard about from Vern earlier, so I don't need to go into any detail, 8-year-old Cady is sent to live with her aunt Gemma, a roboticist at a high-tech Seattle toy company, Funky. Gemma is covertly using the company's resources to develop M3GAN, or M3GAN, depending on how you look at it, Model 3 generative android, a child-sized humanoid robot doll powered by artificial intelligence designed to be the ultimate companion for children. Because, of course, why would you need your parents or your siblings? During an unsuccessful test of the M3GAN in their lab, Gemma's boss, David, discovers the project and orders her to discontinue work on it immediately. Gemma and Cady struggle to connect until Cady comes across Bruce, a motion capture robot that Gemma has created at college. Watching Cady and Bruce, Gemma is motivated to complete M3GAN, or M3GAN, depending on how you look at it. When the prototype M3GAN is formally paired with Cady, David is convinced of the project's potential success. M3GAN exceeds expectations and begins to take on a parental role. Gemma's colleagues, Tess and Cole, and Cady's therapist, Lydia, become increasingly concerned about Cady's developing an unhealthy emotional attachment to M3GAN. M3GAN starts operating more independently and targets anything that she deems as a threat to Cady. She kills Dewey, the dog of Gemma's next-door neighbor, Celia, after it attacks both her and Cady in the front yard. Sometime later, M3GAN attacks Brandon, a boy bullying Cady. And that was the scene that was basically, yes, I love this movie. When M3GAN goes, this is the part where you run.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, so the boy was bullying Cady by pulling off his ear and chasing him until he falls into the road, where he's fatally run over by a passing car. Isekai.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people getting isekai in this movie.
Yeah. Which world do you think it's going to end up in?
Hopefully a really nasty one. Like gore or something.
What about the one from like Aqua? You know, that would be nice, right?
Oh dear. You know, Aqua does not wear underwear so that nobody can see her underwear. That's how smart she is.
Yeah, exactly.
I read that the other day and I just went, oh, for fuck's sake. After Celia blames Gemma for Dewey's disappearance, M3GAN shoots her with a nail gun, because why not? And fatally sprays her with insecticide because she really was an annoying insect. Gemma becomes suspicious of M3GAN and attempts to check her video logs, only to find the files corrupted or deleted. Gemma powers M3GAN off and brings her to the lab where she, Tess, and Cole attempt to fix her. Cady becomes distraught when separated from M3GAN and slaps Gemma. Gemma apologizes for her inattentiveness and explains to Cady that M3GAN is only a distraction from her loss, not a solution to her to help her cope. After watching M3GAN with Cady, Funky's investors greenlight M3GAN's release. Recognizing the risk she possesses, Gemma, Tess, and Cole decide to terminate M3GAN. Yes, they're going to put the rogue AI down. Tess and Cole attempt to shut down M3GAN while Gemma takes Cady home. However, M3GAN activates herself and nearly hangs Cole. It is a horror movie, after all. While Tess saves Cole, M3GAN causes an explosion in the lab, knocking them out. Before exiting the building, M3GAN kills David in the lift, because that's where the guy deserves to die, and his assistant Kurt in an elevator, staging it as a murder-suicide. She steals a car and drives back to Gemma's house. Oh, there's an upgrade I didn't know you could get for your 12-year-old robot
it's murder
companion.
Bot. It's murder bot. Keep it right, okay?
Sorry, 12-year-old murderbot companion with the driving upgrade.
I think I like Chaos term, Doom Lolly.
Mm-hmm. Doom Lolly. Yeah.
Oh, Doom Lolly.
I did like that one. Doom Lolly is awesome. Gemma, M3GAN confronts Gemma, adamant about taking over as Cady's sole caretaker. Gemma attempts to stop M3GAN, damaging and disfiguring her, but M3GAN ultimately overpowers her. Cady saves Gemma, using Bruce to tear M3GAN apart. But M3GAN's top half remains active and attacks Cady. Gemma exposes a processing chip in M3GAN's head, which Cady stabs with a screwdriver, seemingly destroying M3GAN. Authorities arrive with Tess and Cole. However, Gemma and Cady exit the home, and a camera turns on and looks towards them. More credits. Leaving it open for a sequel, which is coming to cinemas near you later this year.
Oh yes, and I think we want to do that reaction video.
Bam, bam, bam.
Oh yeah.
Yes. A little bit late, but well, there you go.
I've been listening. I'm omnipresent. Don't worry.
So I'm going to start this conversation by the first question that I usually ask on this show. So if you're new to the show, the first question that we normally ask is how old were you when you watched this thing? And what was your very first impression? So what I'm looking for is, your initial reaction, discounting the subsequent rewatches ever since that, first watched. So I guess I can start as an example, right? I watched it within this month. Actually, no. When did the trailer hit? When the M3GAN 2.0? That's basically when I decided to watch this film, because that trailer really piqued my interest. And knowing all the stuff that I heard from the Cinema Recall episode and everybody else that was talking about this movie online, in collective, I wanted to watch this. So my first reaction, as you guys heard initially, when I started the show, is I was wrong. This movie was fun. And I was confused.
What?
I was really confused because, I mean, was there a reason why I like this movie so much when I typically dislike horror, right? And that's the reason why I reached out to my co-host here to watch this, to make sure that, was there something there? But the fact that I really enjoyed this film took me by surprise. And
That's why you like it, because it took you by surprise.
it really did. Granted, it's still horror. We watched the um what was the version that we watched, Gio? The
The unrated version.
we watched the unrated version only because I already watched the regular version. So the one difference is that I can tell is on the killing scenes, they kind of cut to the next scene immediately, so you don't get to see the gore.
Robert thought. Let me put it this way, guys. Robert thought that the unrated version was very crude, and I thought that it was very vanilla.
Com- Compared to other
I
things that we watched, it was vanilla.
Here's the
Um,
thing, because I mean, when the movie came out to theaters, it was PG-13 because this is a movie, and I understand why studios did this because they need to make their money back, and they were worried that if they made an R-rated movie, maybe a lot of audiences would see this. And I know they want to make this thing PG-13 to achieve or try to reach a wider audience than they
Yeah,
could,
absolutely.
especially for people who are not really into horror. Because
mhm.
Yeah,
if people are not into horror, they're gonna see this movie as just being a story about a killer doll. Well, we've seen this before with Child's Play. Why am I watching this? And plus, I'm pretty sure this came out pretty close to that Child's Play remake with Mark Hamill as a voice of
it's funny that
Chucky.
you say that. Everybody mentions Child's Play when you talk about Megan.
Wait, but there's that new Child's Play that came out, and the Chucky and the Child's Play remake with Aubrey Plaza and Mark Hamill. That was also about an AI doll that goes bad, and so you got a female version. All right, I don't know if I want to watch this, so we'll make this theatrical version PG-13. And the theatrical version does do a good job with the storyline. You can understand it. I just like the extra bits of F words and other language being used in this. So that's why I prefer the unrated version. But if you only see the theatrical version, you're not missing too much. There's a couple, sequences of gore here and there, but it's nothing too bad or so, I would say.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I still think that you still discover the storyline of this very much. And like I said from the start, right when that commercial comes on, you know right away that this is going to be a dark comedy.
Yes.
You care about these characters very much. You know that Gemma is flawed in the way that she is trying to skirt her responsibilities because Gemma's a woman that does not want to have any kids at all or want nothing to do with her kids. Even at the start, when Cady wants to play with toys and Gemma has all those figurines on the shelf and she just wants to play with the toy and
They
Gemma's
touch
like,
my
yeah, you can't
collectibles.
touch my collectibles, all right? And I love the scene where they do have the psychiatrist come over and it hurts her that she has to open up one of the boxes to grab a toy and they're rolling this
That's such a
her
great scene, dude.
yeah they're rolling this figurine back and forth and Gemma's trying to
That's such a great
explain
scene.
that's not what they're used for, all right? And the psychiatrist's like, why don't you let Katie choose? Like, yeah, I know, but the thing's more complicated because I've had people explain their toys to me too, saying that no, this is actually much more than a toy, and I just found that. So she doesn't really want to have any kids, and I know there's a little plot going on where the grandparents can take over the kid, and Gemma has this opportunity right now to really test out her toy. And I like the fact too that Megan is imprinted on that child. And I know that Gemma gets so frustrated that she puts into Megan's parameters keep Katie safe from all physical and emotional harm. And there's a great moment too when the psychiatrist is visiting her and she says something that makes Katie cry, and Megan goes, "You made her cry." oh, I didn't mean to. And yet, that was the result, wasn't it? And she just plays like this very catty, bratty, like little sister, but she's like an AI robot, and I just found it to be great. It's
Yeah. So yeah,
For the record, comparing to this other movie that they compared, Emma is the hero here.
yeah.
Megan, you mean?
Megan. Sorry,
Megan is the hero.
I keep on saying Emma. I don't know why. Megan is the
Well,
hero in the movie.
it's well, she. I kind of call it more like maybe like an anti-hero because she does do what she's programmed to do, and that is to
Right?
protect Cady. All right, no
Yeah.
matter from who. That's what her main job is there. Uh, and I love the fact we'll get more into this in the sequel because here's a story where you still should be kind of like afraid of Megan, but you're secretly cheering for her, like a lot of horror villains do, because a lot of the horror villains they take out the really snobby, crappy people in this. Like a lot of the people that Gemma works for are really kind of like shallow people. There's that one guy who's trying to steal secrets to trade the secrets of Maiden over to like this rival toy
Yeah.
company. All right. And he did
The boss guy is a total asshole. Like
yeah,
he
because he
doesn't
just
care about the whole project, but they tell me something that I talk like sound like I know what I'm talking about, so I can sell it. It's
he just
like,
wants to make money on
wow,
the whole thing.
bro.
Yeah, that's all he wants to do.
Yeah.
All right. The only people that are actually good, and I think Gemma's co-worker, and I forget her name, she makes a really good point about you're having all this reliance on Cady and this toy. When do you come in as like the parents?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Gemma's like, well, I will just take care of the toy right now, and I'll worry about things later. And then Gemma starts to figure out, hey, this little girl, she just lost her parents. I mean, that is a very traumatic
Yes.
thing in your life to lose someone. And all Katie wants to do is to have someone to connect with and love her. And the person that should be doing this is her aunt. And Gemma does not take the responsibility. She relies that on a toy. You know, that's who she puts that the parental responsibility should be on Gemma, and Gemma gives that to a toy who she basically just programs two things: keep Katie safe from physical harm and emotional harm. That robot has no idea how to handle just very simple parameters, and it also has to do a lot with like how people can use like AI. And I know
Yeah.
how AI can be very smart, but AI can only be as smart as you tell it to be. And if you're not more detailed what you tell it to, then things are going to be kind of complicated. This is exactly why you can compare the robot in this movie to Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey, because Hal was just being
Yeah.
given very simple commands. Hey, God just deliver this message to wherever, no matter what. Like, who is expendable? And the robot was just kind of doing what it's programmed to do. So sorry about the long rant on that.
Hal was actually given contradictory orders, and that's why he started killing
Yeah,
people.
yeah. And I feel like kind of the same way too. Like with Megan, she's also been getting kind of like different programs too, because she's confused about what she's been programmed to do or take care of. But I don't know. Do you think I'll ask this for you, Robert, and Ray, and you as well? Because I know like with like Child's Play, it was like a voodoo curse that he was able to go into like different bodies and become alive. Uh, do you think that when M3GAN starts thinking for herself, this is just the robot becoming alive, like a short circuit type of deal, or is it something that she was definitely programmed with? I don't know.
Well, if you look at the subtleties of the script, and you look at Megan as being a product of Gemma, who is not very sociable. She doesn't think about the consequences of her actions with Cady. She's not maternal. She's not, she's not into family or anything like that. So those traits are passed on to Megan.
Mhm.
So people aren't important. It's the focus. It's the focus on the task that's important. It's not the people who are important, and that's what M3GAN learns from Gemma. Is that the people aren't important, so therefore the people are disposable.
Yeah, and I told Gio, didn't I tell you that's when the movie starts, right? If she would have taken the time to explain, instead she's just grabbed the issue and just basically just brush it under the rug instead of explaining to M3GAN that people are important, explaining about death. She made it. She minimized the fact. So now
Let me put it.
for
Let me
now.
put it in simple. Let me put it in simple words so our audience understand. This is what happens if you don't use ChatGPT to make prompts for you. You're gonna get shitty results because you were not.
And you forget Asimov's laws of robotics.
Yeah,
Exactly. I think. And let me point this out. Vern confirmed this for me because I think that this is one of the main reasons he likes it. And might not understand that why he likes it.
You're crackling, man. You might have to come.
I don't know.
No.
Worse. You need to restart your browser.
Yeah.
We'll wait for you. We'll wait for you. So basically, I mean, me and Gio were watching this in the watch party. Which, by the way, if you are listening to the show and you're not on our Discord, you should join our Discord because this is where most of our conversations are happening. But yes, what Gio was, we were having this conversation because I think that would have been a turning point for the movie. It would have been a really boring movie if she would have acted like like a normal parent and explained to M3GAN when M3GAN asked about death and how she lost her parents. But instead, she found it very difficult to talk about it, so she just brushed it under the rug and made it feel like death is normal. People die all the time, and so what is M3GAN supposed to do? She can kill people because it's not important.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's way better. I'd like to just bring up a point before we move on about ChatGPT and training AIs as they exist today. I've been reading a lot of articles about it, partially to do with a side gig that I've got for an IT firm, but they write a lot of stuff about AI, and it all has to do with the data that the AI is trained on as to what sort of response it's going to give. And that is basically what we're seeing here. The data that M3GAN was trained on was not fully functional. It was not socially adequate.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Gemma created a monster.
Yeah, pretty much.
A Frankenstein monster in a way.
Yeah.
Well, that's the basically encapsulation of why this is a horror movie. It was not M3GAN was not given the social understanding to know that killing people
Not
is
at
wrong.
all. Not at all.
And plus, it does play on the trope about the whole sort of like creepy doll sort of thing. Because children always feel like their toys are much more alive than we claim them to be. This just happens to be an AI robot that can actually learn from its other inhabitants too. So,
and what I liked about this movie was they used the now what's the term again? God, why can't I remember the term? Something gap. I can't think what the term is.
Generation gap.
No, when you just use CGI and it doesn't quite look real.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And I can't remember the term.
No, it's not
man, yeah,
it's Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley, yes, that's it. Yeah, so they use the Uncanny Valley in this movie to great effect to ramp up the horror.
Yeah,
I mean, people get quite disturbed by Uncanny Valley, which is why there's so many complaints about bad CGI. But they actually use the Uncanny Valley in this movie to make things more horrific, to make the doll creepy.
M3GAN looks freaking eerie. It doesn't matter how you look at her. Like, she doesn't look cute. Like, I would jump if I look at my window with that shit is looking at me. have face like that, I would
But
jump. Like I would grab my gun and just empty a clip on that shit. Like hell no.
Well,
I'm not.
Robert shared a short with us on our Discord to do with the actress who was playing Megan, the body actress, and
She's a
she took the
beautiful
mask off.
lolly.
She took the animatronic mask off, and there was a real person under there, and that was creepy
yeah,
too.
yeah.
You know what's the creepy thing about her is that without makeup, she does those dancing movements, and it's like it's like you know how an actor can make a character take life. She just killed that fucking doll and make her dead again by doing that shit. I was like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
No,
Moo is very much like how you figure out like a robot to move. And I had no idea. 'Cause I really thought that doing those like launch shots, I thought it was all just gonna be like CGI or some sort of like animatronic puppet. They're using for that. And I've seen the sequences where she's wearing that mask and moving. I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like a real doll. Oh my gosh, that's an actual human being doing that. And then I also just want to give a quick message or a quick mention to the girl who did the voice work for this one, Jenna Davis.
Yeah,
was the voice of Megan, and I thought that it was great because she has that level of tone where she's being very helpful and happy, almost like you would see a cartoon character. It reminds me very much like a Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, and then she has
Oh,
other elements where she becomes
yes.
very like sinister and cold, but still do it in that very like nice voice way as well. So
Yes, yes. I think that the way that they made it, I think they were very artful about it. And that's I think they're part of the satire about it. I feel the same thing. Do you watch The Shining Monkey?
I don't think so. No,
Well, the new horror
I don't think
movies
it's
that are
good.
going that they do like the satire. That's something beautiful they do, and that I was gonna do before the internet broke on me. But basically, and I think that you can appreciate that probably, Bernice, that when the cinema use morbid cinema. And what I like about morbid is that it kind of like it shakes the audience to get a reaction out of them, you like it or not. I think that what I like about morbid cinema. You know, it's like it relies on absurdity
Yes.
for it to
No.
function. And when you look Megan, when that's happening, it's like you're not able to really feel tense anymore because the absurdity of everything that is happening, it's keeping you on the edge of the seat. You know.
I'm the one thing I love about horror films a lot is you're watching a lot of like stupid people make stupid choices, and then you're watching the comeuppance of their stupidity, and it ends up being just absolutely like hysterical way. Bad for the characters, but funny for me. It becomes more horrifying
Yes.
when bad things are happening to people that you like. And I
Yes.
like the character arcs that they make to this, especially Cady, who goes from this girl who lost her parents, and then she found her best friend. She wants to take this best friend along with her everywhere, to the point where she becomes very violent if you take this toy away from her. Learn to accept the loss of her parents, and then at the end still want to like save the day and use that Bruce character to start fighting. I really hope that Bruce character kind of shows up in the new movie in a way. I love
Yes.
what they're going to be doing with the new movie. I know we're going to talk about that later on. I think the tone of this works out very well, where you get a lot of the social satire, the campy comedy of this, uh, elements where there's some good tensions and scares going on with this, but it's not scary too much that I don't think people who are not much into horror can't find some fun in this, because horror can be fun. It can be silly,
Yeah.
fun times. It doesn't have to be horrific gore. And I love the fact. So even though it's a matter which version you watch, even though this movie does have some great elements to it, though, they know the right way to use it.
Yeah.
There's not a
Definitely.
moment in this movie where anything feels like over expletive, if I can say that right.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, they go further. One of the places that they do this across the movie many times, but one of the places when it gets very like absurd is she gets bitten by a dog, and then Gemma comes next day and they're like, "Oh, we have the presentation thing. You still good to do it?" Like in that moment, you can ask Robert. I was like, I lost my marbles at that moment. I was like, "No, no, 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 no! Wait up, wait up! This is like New York. This is not a real place."
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
well,
was like no sane adult is gonna tell the kid that just lost their parents and got beaten by a dog, go and do my presentation. In that moment, I was like, yeah, no, like this is like
well, you
absurd.
don't have to do this
That
all if you want to.
Uh,
that reflects exactly what I was saying earlier about
yeah,
Gemma doesn't know how to interact with children. She doesn't have a consciousness that takes the social thing into account. She doesn't give the kid any sort of emotional support. She
no,
treats
no,
her
no.
like an adult because she doesn't know how to treat kids, and there's just no care involved. She just
You
doesn't
want me
really
to
care.
you want me to tell you want me to tell you how I dismantle how dark Gemma is? And I told Robert, and Robert was like, That's why Robert couldn't like really like contend to it. It was like, yeah, that's right. And I said that Gemma is dark as hell. It's because when she started catching on to Megan, and Megan just killed a boy on the camping ground, right? When she talks to the cop, she already had get caught by Megan trying to look at the footage and get interrupted, right? Then the cop comes in and asks. She didn't see Megan killing the boy, but she saw footage of point of view of Megan looking at the boy that just got killed. So she knows that Megan did something. And when the cop tells him, "Oh, well," he said, "We found a piece of ear clean cut 200 meters from where the boy was," she knows in that moment that Megan did it, and she still kept quiet all the way through the presentation until Megan like went berserk. So
Well,
like
see, think from things from her perspective. This is a
her
toy that
product,
she created. There,
she wants her
like
product to
how
work out no matter what. It got dark in there.
how would she know for it? That's why she wanted to get more tests done on this, because would you honestly believe that this little toy killed a young boy? I mean, no, that's just be ridiculous. So you gotta go and get
He,
some tests done for this. I mean, plus
he
there's a lot of
wasn't killed. He was isekai. He's
these.
in a better place now.
And plus, that young boy, all right, he would have grown up to be like a date rapist or something like that. He was a horrible little boy.
Oh, for
He
sure.
just didn't
That's
care.
for sure. That's for sure. We don't feel sorry about him, but the point that I'm trying to make is like it doesn't make sense. Like the scenes are very hardcore. Like she looked at the doll that she didn't want to bring because she already was having doubts about the problematic that she was becoming. Then the doll she spotted out of where she was supposed to be. She saw a video of the boy that died and got interrupted by Megan, which was acting very, very bratty and suspicious. You
No,
know?
and she still, it was kind of odd for her to go along with the presentation, but here is like this device that's been helping her niece deal with her parents' death. How is she going to take that away from her? If she takes it away from her, she doesn't know exactly how to handle that kid's emotions at
Yeah,
that time. It's a very like complicated thing because you want to do right for your family members, and yet
but
you're afraid that you put this on them. So I'm sure she feels a lot of guilt going on with herself by introducing her to this device that is supposed to help her, but may be
just
causing
create
like
a
not
bigger
only some,
problem.
but not only just some friction between Gemma and Cady. That's what Megan's kind of been doing because Megan wants to be, Cady's main mother figure. It's almost like the Wild Robot, that
Yeah.
animated movie, which is beautiful, by the way,
Yes.
and how that wants to evoke, motherhood, and how the mother wants to take care of something. Maiden wants to take care of Cady, and she wants to do whatever she can. Gemma knows that Maiden has been doing bad things, and yet she feels conflicted because she just doesn't know what to do. I would not know what to do if I gave a toy, uh, you know, to my family members, and that toy, helped this little girl, overcome things, but also did like bad things too. Like, I don't know, what would you do as a parent?
It's not a toy. It's not a toy. It's an emotional support doom lolly. Okay, get it right.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
Here's the thing.
But they would have marketed that shit as a toy.
But yeah, no. Okay. That was the first terrible thing. Look how they're comparing a freaking humanoid perfect doll to a freaking furry pet. Like, they're not even the same caliber of article, first of all. But the other thing is, it's really a social dilemma that at the end of the day, that she doesn't know how to deal with Cady, and not doing so, she creates a bigger problem for herself.
Yeah.
And the problem, and I think that the philosophical message that situation has is that it doesn't matter if you don't want to deal with the problems ahead of you; they're not going anywhere. And the problem with not dealing with them is that it is like brushing dust under the carpet. One day you're gonna step over it and it's gonna come out very ugly, but it's not gonna go anywhere. So that's why dealing with problems and situations is very important, and that doesn't take away how uncomfortable they are, but it's necessary because it becomes worse. And that's what happens with the movie. Is that Gemma, for not dealing with Cady, because she didn't know how to, and she didn't try to look for a way. She like basically Robert and I were talking about this, about like lazy people, and basically we were like, they are smart as hell, and it's true. Like, they actually are some of the most brilliant inventors, and why they invent things so they don't have to work extra hard for it. So it's very smart, actually. Yeah. But like, at the same time, the movie gives you this moral message of like the problems with new inventions. It's like they can be used for great things or for horrible things. Because M3GAN, if trained or set up the right way, could do great things. But basically, at the same time, when you look at the movie, and first she suggests that the girl goes with a beaten arm to do the presentation, and then the girl does this crying scene and exploits it to the benefit of everybody and her own to keep the doll. At that moment, it's like they dehumanize the whole terror of what happens to the girl. The girl herself did this, and it's like, okay, like, is anybody really gives a shit about everything that is going on? Like, Gemma doesn't look like she lost her sister. This girl now is like, she's so absorbed by the doll experience that everything, her single-minded motivation is being with the doll. So much that when they take it away, and you think that Gemma is pulling her off from the trance of M3GAN, what Cady says at the end of the conversation, yeah, but what about being with M3GAN? And you're like, oh shit, like, she's brainwashed already. It's lost.
Yeah.
I have.
If you change M3GAN for an iPad with problems that are happening today with kids, it's like iPad goes rogue and takes over kids.
I have my very own thoughts on that scene, right? I called her obviously lazy parent, right? Lazy parenting. And to Ray's point, she doesn't know how to deal with kids, right? So she doesn't have that empathy that you need. But I think she could have gotten it if she dealt with a problem. The problem was, you lost your sister, you have her daughter, you want to talk about it, you want to deal with it, instead of just, walking away from the problem and just pushing an iPad or pushing a phone on the kid to deal with it, instead of talking to the kid. Now, I think, that's the first fault, right? When she asked, to do the presentation. I believe that everything failed to crap when she started crying, because that was not planned. That was not what she was intended. As a matter of fact, if you look at the faces, the boss was looking at her like, hold up a second. We're going to lose the investments, because this is not what is supposed to happen. Now, I don't know if you remember what I said, Gio, on our watch party, but when she started watching her, after looking at the boss, and she started looking at her, and everything just fell apart, and she was only looking at her. I think that was the moment when she realized the big mistake that she has done, where she's not talking to the kid. And for the first time, you could actually see in her face, I screwed up.
And I
Right?
think the way that M3GAN kind of looked at her and saves her is an indication
Yes.
where the
Yeah.
creation is telling their creator, "I'm smarter than you are."
Yes.
She looked at her in that moment with an accusatory feeling.
Yes.
And the way that Megan looked at her before she stepped in is like, how fucking dare you do this to her? I'm gonna step in anyways and save it.
I mean, Megan was
That's why
trying
I
to
love
help.
the way that she looked at her.
Megan was trying to help. If you remember, fast, rewind back to when she was asking Gemma about, what is death, and what happened to her Cady's parents, and how she shut her off.
Yeah.
And she was trying to help. And again, this is where I think she actually looked at all the mistakes that she made in here, because if she would have taken the approach of a parent,
Well, because Gemma doesn't know how to handle herself either. She does not know how to handle her own sister's death, or basically anyone's death. She has to just surround herself with work, and she's thinking, if I just concentrate on my job and my work, I'm not gonna have to worry about anything, because if I think about this, I'm going to become emotionally hurt, and if I
yeah,
become emotionally hurt, I can't do my job. And I know a lot of people that just put their efforts into their job so they don't have to think about this, because they are worried that they're going to like break down and they're not going to be the same person as they were, and they're worried that they're going to lose their job and not be successful. And it's a scary thing.
you paint a really good perspective, and that explains perfectly why. And we had this conversation, Gio, in our watch party, why Gemma feels like unfazed by her sister's death. I feel
Yeah.
that she feels her death. It's just like exactly what you're saying. She chooses, based on what we see from the film, she chooses not to feel and put everything on work, so she doesn't have to feel, so she doesn't have to deal. And that, I think, is a big problem. And I think one of the lessons of this film is that you have to deal. You have to deal with your problems.
Yeah. Very, very much
What do
so.
you guys think? Do you think Gemma's on the spectrum?
Definitely.
I could see that. Yeah,
Definitely.
That was my feeling.
Let me put it this way:
There's-
if she wasn't, I mean, I'm not an expert to really that knows anybody, but my own perspective, uh, if she wasn't, there will be a point where she will break down then because of the overload. But being able to, if you think about it, it's like there is no really there's guilt on her face at some very short points. I think that where I disagree with Robert on that point is like, yeah, she realizes at some point, but it's not really a full turning point, because she continues until she decides, okay, it's enough, and then just leaves with the girl. But like, she has to go to that very far point where the girl actually just like loses it, and she understands like this girl is addicted to this doll. This is no good. This is very bad. Like the moment that the kid said like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I go too crazy when I know with M3GAN," that's a kid telling you, get this crap the hell away from me and don't ever let me see it." That's what a real adult will really understand for a kid really losing its marbles because you not let it be with a toy. It's like, okay, this is too bad. This is very bad.
Yeah, I think you got a point there, but I believe that she is making the same mistakes over and over, because I think it takes her to go through all this stuff all the way into the film to realize she has to do something. Even at that point when she felt bad, when she said, okay, I screwed up, she still refuses to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem.
Well, I think she does take the toy in to have it be tested, and while Maiden is away, that is when Gemma does talk to Cady, because they're separated from Maiden at this point, and I do believe that Gemma does try very much to make a connection with Cady, and her and Cady start to feel a little bit better. They're mending, they're healing. It's a slow process, but I think they're starting to become good. And I know that Maiden feels threatened by that, because she's no longer going to be the only person in Cady's life, and so they're have a way of like, and I'm curious about asking you guys about this, especially you, Ray, with the use of like AI. I know there's been like a lot of like AI dating bots and chat bots and things, and people kind of like using. I know there's even a whole thing of like online chat GPT like girlfriends and things of that. I can almost see like this type of technology being used as a way of like parents like helping like the loss of like a grieving child. I'm reminded of like AI, artificial intelligence, and whatnot. And I know I'm kind of going back and forth between like the AI chatbots and the thing like AI real child and everything. But do you feel the whole way AI is being used with all these like chatbots? Do you think that there are going to be people who are going to be relying on these type of technologies and not be able to
Okay,
deal
that's
with
a
human?
number of questions.
It
That's a
is. I
number of
know.
questions
I my
all
mind
rolled
goes.
into one.
My mind just deals like a bunch of like different topics and just phrases and questions all at once, and you're supposed to pinpoint on just one answer that.
Okay, I'll try and cover the
Okay.
main questions that you asked there. So the first one is that AI, as it is described, is not artificially intelligent. It is a simulation of a response system. It
Okay.
basically goes, okay, from all the data that I've been fed, what sort of response would the person who wrote this expect? And that's what I'll give them.
Okay.
And of course, some AI are prone to what's called hallucinate, where they make shit up.
See that? See you.
And
Thank you, Ray. This is epic. I see all these word vomits, and you were able to say, "All right, this is the word vomit. I'm going to pick out this kernel here," and you just explained it beautifully. I'm sorry. Please continue.
yeah, so it's a known factor in AI training that AIs can hallucinate and they just make shit up and present it as facts. So we do have to be very careful to curate the data that is fed to AI, and then they have to be tested regularly to make sure that what they're providing has accuracy based on the data. So it's not a case of, oh, these things all work perfectly every time. So when you turn around and say, well, will people start to rely on these things? Of course they will. Human beings anthropomorphize fucking rocks, for God's sakes. An AI that talks back to them and sounds like a human, they're going to anthropomorphize in a second. So then they're going to start emotionally relying on them. And then if they go off track and start hallucinating or get nasty, then these people are going to get really hurt. So these are the challenges and the problems with mentally anthropomorphizing a system that is providing you with feedback based on data. It's not actually intelligent. It's not actually thinking and having feelings. It's a simulation.
That's crazy because I feel like a lot of hospitals are gonna like use this type of technology to help people deal with things that they can't deal with. I don't know. Do you agree or disagree with that? Will hospitals?
Well, it's not just hospitals. I mean, if you look at, I use Japan as an example because it's quite the extreme example. But if you look at Japan and its inverted population base, you've got a basically inverted pyramid. So there's few children and a lot of retirees, right? So its population is like this now. They've lost 30 million people in the last 30 years. So they've gone from 150 million population to 120 million. But they've got an aged population. And that aged population is very fragmented and very unsupported socially. So there's a lot of people living alone. People die in little apartments by themselves in Japan. People don't know for weeks until they smell the rotting carcass. So it's that bad. So, there's nobody to check up on them. There's nobody talking to them regularly. So, to try and give these people some sort of feeling like they're not left alone to die, they are working on companion robots. Companion robots is a huge industry in Japan. And it's mostly for the elderly to give them somebody to talk to because left alone. They feel like they're left alone, and they're so lonely that they just die from loneliness, like quite literally.
Yeah.
But you know, people dealing with psychological disorders and grief and all those sorts of things. Certainly, you could train an AI to help somebody with that. It wouldn't necessarily be as good as a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but it certainly would go a long way to providing them with guidance and hints and things that they can do to try and improve their situation mentally and get over these things. Because, you know, some sort of guidance is better than nothing. Better than sitting in your own little hell and spiraling downwards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it may not be 100% perfect. And look, humans aren't 100% perfect either. Psychologists don't always have the answer. Psychiatrists don't always have the answer. But some sort of help.
Yes.
Thanks, Gio.
That's true. That's Gio's.
There's got to be an exception that makes the rule. So Gio will be that exception.
Are you an AI robot, Gio? Do we know things? Are you a sentient AI robot?
Don't bring the catch up conversation over. I don't like catch ups.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. I think that catch up and racism are the same thing.
Okay.
So I mean, what's that about? Like clicking here if you're not a robot. Like, why do I have to click on that box? What's the problem with that?
I think I want to bring.
My robot was very offended when it had to click on the "I'm not a robot" thing.
I am a hard worker. I know how to discern what's a bus and what's a bicycle in a traffic light. Come on.
I think I want to bring this conversation back because you know we are science fiction remnant. We do that. We have no rails. So we left the initial question far behind us at this point.
That was my fault.
But you know, we do that in the show all the time. So I guess I want to leave you for last, Vern, because you've seen this a while back. I know that Gio saw it today for the first time, so maybe we should start with Gio, and then Ray, you saw this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you had enough time to kind of chew through this information. So the question again for all of you out there who lost track of our rails, because we have none, is how old were you when you first watched it for the first time, and what was your first impression, Gio?
Well, I was 0 days old. I watched it today. I think that this movie is great entertainment. It's a must watch for sure. I did. The movie just you can ask Robert how many times I just like busted laughing out loud across the movie. It was the whole thing. It was just funny as hell.
Yeah.
I really liked it, man. And I think like in like quick observation, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong or right. I think that they grabbed like the like a template for horror movies when it comes to like certain scenes and cuts, and they purposely just adapted M3GAN to it. But they were like, you know what, we're not gonna try to like bamboozle you with some new stuff. No, this is what works, but we're gonna put our take on it. Boom, and it works perfect. It's like it's meant to be this way, and we're gonna give it to you how it is, and that's it. And it works.
It subverts your expectations that you usually have in a lot of like horror features. Yeah.
It is, but at the same time, it's like they don't make it feel cliche.
No, exactly, yeah. Or they know they know the tropes and the cliches because they know a lot of the audiences watch a lot of horror films, and yet they take it in ways that makes it feel like fresh, original, and fun.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, and I think that also how well they play with absurdity across the movie enriches the experience. Not to feel the tense that you always feel when you watch a horror. That's completely absent in here. Even though you have a doll here that is going berserk and killing people, you're not feeling tense throughout the movie. You're enjoying it, and most of the time you root for it. You root for the killing doll.
Yep. Okay, Ray, it's your turn.
It took me a moment to find this.
Thank you. And that's only because that's what we do.
Rails, where we're going, we don't need rails.
Rails, what is that?
Don't know.
Nice.
Anyway, so I sort of went into this with some expectations because I'd heard some things from Robert and Geo about it. I skipped over it when it came out because COVID, and there were lots of distractions in other directions, so I wasn't on top of the movies that were coming out at the time. I knew about it, but it just hadn't really, I hadn't watched a trailer, and I hadn't clicked on its heavy sci-fi leanings. But once I'd been keyed up to it by Robert and Gio, I went, oh, cool. Okay, well, this sounds like something I need to watch. So I watched it. And it did remind me a lot of RoboCop in the way it was sort of put together, but not really in the tone. The tone was much more modern, and it really had that sort of corporate bullshit-esque feeling to it, if you know what I'm talking about. And then, we've discussed a lot of the things that immediately jumped out to me, like the whole Gemma's on the spectrum and just isn't dealing with emotions at all, and the poor girl that she's ended up becoming the guardian of isn't getting any support from her emotionally, and the robot ends up filling that space, and the instructions that were given were so vague that it didn't have a feeling for, murder is bad. So it just became a doom-lolly and tried to fulfill its instructions. Of course, with the requisite amount of sarcasm, because obviously it had been shown a lot of sarcastic interactions in movies or something. I don't know exactly where it got its sarcasm from, but oh boy, that sarcasm was really evident, which made it really quite amusing. I thought they did a really good job on the movie when I first saw it, and I thought that it has a lot of legs. And I'm actually looking forward to the sequel. I mean, I'm a bit bummed that it's getting a sequel and a spin-off before Alita Battle Angel gets her sequel. Bloody Disney. But I think the sequel's going to be good if it keeps to that level of quality for the price. You can't really beat it. And I think it's something to really look forward to.
I will say this real quickly, Ray. I think they're going to do for Maiden 2.0 what Gremlins 2 A New Batch did. And how, Gremlins 2 A New Batch amped up the campiness, the silliness way more in the sequel compared to the original movie. I think that's what Maiden 2.0 is going to do. They're just going to go all out crazy with its concepts, especially all the new add-ons they added into Maiden. I think that's going to play into that. It's going to be a much more comedic based. Like the first one had its comedy moments, but not as much as I think Maiden 2.0 is going to do, because they're also going to get into the fans' reaction to the movie, and it'd be almost like a satire on the first movie itself. And I think there's going to be a lot more to be said about the nature of horror sequels and how we made icons out of supposed villains and whatnot. But I got a very strong Gremlins 2 vibe when watching the trailer for Maiden 2.0.
Well, I'm kind of getting a Terminator vibe in that I think that Megan's loose on the web. So it's sort of like a Terminator 2 vibe versus Ghost in the Shell. The end of the Ghost in the Shell movie, where she went out into the net fused with the artificial intelligence, and they started doing this shit.
That's a fair point, in terms of plot nature, but I feel like the tone of it is going to be silly and strange. I expect to see almost like an animated short to introduce things, but to get you caught up with stuff. I imagine some sort of like M3GAN little like anime type of like short to tell you about what happened in the last movie. I think the tone is just be a lot more different. And I think they're gonna like, amp up more the comedy in the second one. Uh, this is from Gerald Johnstone, um, and I'll get into my thoughts about this because I saw this when it came out to theaters, and I was skeptical to see this movie because I thought it was gonna be another like Child's Play ripoff, and oh no, it's a killer doll. I've seen the episode of Twilight Zone with Talking Tina, and then I found out the director's name, Gerald Johnstone, and I've seen his movie he did prior to this one called Housebound. And if you've never seen Housebound, it's really great. It's about a woman who is on house arrest and she's forced to live with her mom. And she starts seeing all these ghostly things that are happening. And she's trying to solve this murder. But there's this really great comedic tone that Housebound has throughout the movie that I said, if the director who made this movie can make M3GAN, I'm going to be intrigued to see it, and I think they sell it perfectly. I just like the tone of this movie very much. I liked all the characters. I like the fact that it's not afraid to be campy and ridiculous. 'Cause I know everyone talks about that dance sequence that M3GAN has, and I thought that was just great. Yeah, overall, it's a great little cautionary tale
It
about the
was.
life
It was
of
like
technology.
it was like the it was like the doll said, like, you know what? I want to be a creepy doll now.
Yeah, you know, yeah. But yeah, I just absolutely I have a lot of fun with this movie, and it's a good paced movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It gets in, it gets out. It's like only like an hour and 40 minutes, but no scene of this feels wasted. There's not a moment in this movie where you go, that could be removed, or maybe that could be trimmed down, or whatnot. I just, yeah, it knows exactly what it's trying to go for. It's going to be a creepy killer doll movie, and I think they execute it well by adding in some, cautionary elements that I think are important for everyone to know about.
Yeah, yeah. Ray, do you finish your thought before we move on?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
It was the first thought, so it's a bit short.
Nice. Vern, was that part of your answer, or you
That
wanted?
was that
Oh,
was yes, that was.
awesome. So, just want to make sure before I move the conversation somewhere else. There was something that I was thinking about when I was watching this film, and I want to get your thoughts on the topic. You know, us as humans, Ray touched on this topic very much, where we get a uh, we use technology that helps us to a to a- to a, to a to a solution. That's why technology is there, is to make our lives simple, right? So if we look at technology and look at, and from the lens at the parenting lens, which is what the main topic of this film seems to be gearing towards. As a parent, I remember
Gary
when I had,
Towers or lacking off.
well, when I had my two girls, right? I wasn't onto it wasn't today's technology, right? So I don't know if I want to say it was easier, because it has its own very own challenges. But uh, I compare to now, like how parents would give, like what the Burn just mentioned earlier. Just give it an iPad, give it a phone, and just let them get distracted, and so you can do what you need to do. And I understand you're tired. You come from work. You just want to have a moment to yourself. Um, so in that case, technology works fine because if done responsibly, right? Not to the point where this movie went. If done responsibly, it works well. right? You can have educational apps on the tablet or phone that could actually teach your kids. Yet when dinner comes around, you take the device off and you sit down and have dinner and talk to your kids, right? When done responsibly. Where I'm going with this is the question: technology is not stagnant, it's moving forward. We are in an age where what I like to call dumb AI, it is the dawn of dumb AI, right? So a future like this is not hard to imagine, where phones and tablets could evolve to something akin to what we see in this film, where now you have a new piece of technology that you could use on your kids to help you in parenting. Because parenting is hard, right? So, my question to you guys is, do you feel that this could or may become a problem in the future? And I'm not putting years in this thing because it could happen 20 years from now, it could happen 30 years from now, it could happen 100 years from now. It doesn't really matter. But for humanity's sake, do you think that knowing the track record that us humans do when it comes to technology, this could become a problem? Or do you think it could also be used responsibly, like I've seen some parents do responsibly the phones and the tablets on kids?
I think it just depends on the individual and the parent and how they want to use this technology. I mean, it's now the ability to do good and also the ability to do bad. It just kind of depends on each individual person. I think it becomes more problematic when someone relies on just that technology to make their lives better or their kids' life better. And I worry about parents blaming the technology if something doesn't go right and then resort to more heinous actions against their kids because they thought this supposed technology was supposed to make their lives better, and that doesn't happen. And yet they become like more distraught and become more antisocial in a way too. And so I think it just kind of depends on the individual. If someone is mentally unstable and you give them, a piece of technology that's supposed to make lives better, that person is still mentally unstable regardless of the technology that is used.
Yeah. And,
Yep.
and I see this happen today with social media and how
Yeah.
social media has made kids, because I mean, I come from a different generation. I am Gen X.
Look,
Yeah, I
I'm
am
used
too.
to go out and meet friends and talk to friends and
Yeah.
play with friends.
mhm,
Social media has made the antisocial portion of kids grow to the point where you
Well,
kids nowadays, I believe they look at other people as names on a computer instead of an actual human being.
but that also affects people too because there was that whole year everyone's getting kind of like locked out and people become like antisocial. And I know
yep.
I feel like technology in a way has seeped that in to my life too and made me afraid to go and talk to people because I worry sometimes what people feel about me because of the stuff I see online or stuff I should talk about or whatnot. So I think technology has a way of seeping into our own lives and
Yep.
making us feel like different people than we actually are.
Yeah. Gio, what is your thought on the topic about technology? I mean, you already know what humans do, right? And how technology seeps into our lives. Um,
I think that the problem with the question is that it's happening already. It's not a question of if it's gonna happen. We've seen it. I think that I can speak for all of us. We are all from our generation where we grew up playing with our neighbors and kids in the streets. We know what it is to play tag outside or play ball in the court. Most kids they don't really know. You know, they grow up inside. And the way that we grow, that you can actually notice there, alluding to what the Vern was saying, it creates a social divide in between generations, and you can actually notice it because this is something that Robert and I have spoken up a lot to. It's like people already from a generation before mine, and I'm 35 years old only. Like they don't even want to talk on the phone. Like they're like, "Why do you call me? You gotta text me before you call me." How many times have somebody told you that? And they're like, it's not like it's a stranger, it's a friend, it's a family member. You're like, what? And then you think, wow, you need to let me know before you call me. So I use a cell phone. What was a cell phone even made for? It was for you to communicate with me anyways. So we have become antisocial to the point where we don't even use the means of communication for what they actually were meant to be made. A phone is not anymore about making phone calls. A phone now is about putting everything on text, which I think is very detrimental to how we socially behave. I think that is part that actually is destroying us socially, not talking, because you cannot tell me that a text message with something very very sensitive about a relationship between you and a person, it's gonna be the same as if I tell it to you directly and you get the tone of my voice, the emotion that is carrying. So like text messaging already is destroying what human connection and communication is, because it's not a bad thing. It's great. It's very practical that I can send you a message, you can read it whenever you can get it. But the problem is that is the extremism and everything. Is that
Well,
we grab something and we just, instead of using it for what it is, we exploit it and we use it for more things that it's not meant to be, and then it becomes a problem. We
I,
always
I
do
think
this.
I think Gio too that technology, even though things may seem kind of like different, strange. I know like what we're doing right now with this podcast is we are communicating our thoughts face to
Yeah,
face with your tones, and I know a lot of kids are doing this through gaming and doing like online gaming
true, true.
and talking to people this way too. A lot of kids I know are talking to their friends, through Skype as well. So I think that technology has a way to make people connected. Because I know all through
Agree,
like
agree.
COVID. Well, I mean, even through COVID too, I was talking with like family members through Skype, and we played games, through Skype because we didn't have a chance to talk to anyone. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that technology does have a way of making sure people are connected. It just kind of depends on how you want to use what's
Yeah.
around you and whatnot. And here's the two: if you were antisocial before, technology is not really going to fit or curb the
Yes.
antisocialness already because that's already in you. Like I don't
Agreed.
I have a fear of like really kind of going out around new people. I have to make sure that I'm around people that I know
Social anxiety.
before. Yeah, I can't go to a bar by myself. I mean, I can, but I have a hard time talking to anyone new. I've got to
It's
be
not
around other
pleasant. Yeah.
people that I know first of all before I can become interactive with anyone else. That's why I love very much about doing this podcast show because it allows me to become more sociable and get out of my own head about stuff there too.
Absolutely.
But I don't want to like just like rely just on technology. Like if I saw you guys in person, I would be like, "Hey, Robert, Gio, what's up, guys? So nice to see you here." And I give you a big hug, and I give Ray a hug too. Like, oh, so and I can communicate with you, that way. I think technology has this way of like maybe hopefully help us, resolve some of our own anxiety
Mhm.
about
Yeah,
things and whatnot.
absolutely.
So
That
yeah,
and you're mentioning some of the many positive uses that it has. Actually, is what I'm saying. It's like a double edged sword. Like
it
it can be
is.
used for so many great things, and you're very right. I mean, me personally, like I've made a habit, and many people before used to be like, "Oh, that's weird," and I realized saying like stop thinking, stop people telling you what's weird. Not just be yourself. Like I have
Yeah.
this core servers where we just connect and somebody's streaming something and like people just jump in and start just talking, and it's just like it's like a place for people to hang out without any need. So like
exactly.
these are servers where you have people like you might not know everybody, you might not know half of the people on the call, and you get to know new people like that, and you get to talk about whatever they're talking about a series, a video game, something happening. But basically, these are Discord servers where people are on calls, and that's it, and people can be themselves. And so, internet and social media can be used to stay connected to. And I think that's again, the extremism is the problem on it. I think that we've become to a far extreme where even though we have so much social media, we're becoming disconnected. And then we have the people that have found that connection thanks to that. I mean, some of my best friends that I have to this day, I met them online, and I've never met personally with them, but we play through the COVID pandemic. We play Call of Duty countless nights, and we became good friends. And we don't play anymore, but we still talk to this day thanks to that. And we're like, man, we miss playing or whatever. But we realized, like, hey, screw the games. How you doing, bro? So, like, we check up on each other, and it's been months that we don't play, but we check up on each other every other day, too. So it's like sometimes you can get friends through that, and it's great. It's a great way to stay connected to, for sure.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. The conversation has gone, so I don't know if you still know the question.
It was a very heartfelt and passionate discussion. I didn't want to interrupt it.
Thank you.
Oh yes.
Gio sort of touched on the point that I was going to make, but every technology that humanity has ever created is a double-edged sword. It has its positive uses and its negative uses, and what we need to do is just sit down and have a bit of a think about how we use things and what effect it's going to have, the flow-on effects, the immediate effects. And I do feel like these technologies that are coming up now, like the AI companion bots and things like that, they all can have positive influences.
Oh, yes.
And fill needs that there just is no other way to fill. That's why people are making the damn things, because there's a demand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to help an elderly person who just doesn't have anybody to visit them feel a bit better and hang on, give them some sort of social interaction. I mean, if the chatbots get so good you can't tell the difference between them and real people, then what's the difference? They're still providing that social interaction and that filling that need where there's no other way to do it. And if there is no other way to do it, then bugger it. Do it the artificial way.
Yeah.
Just give the person what they need. And I think that it's important and it's a good use of the technology.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Good point.
I just don't want any doom lollies like murdering people around my place.
But if they dance well, then I'm all for it, all right? I love the fact too that there's another robot in M3GAN 2.0 that's a much more evil version. I'm gonna love that very much. And the way that they use the technology of CGI with animatronics and real people, that is going to be a very fun movie with M3GAN 2.0. I'm all good for good M3GAN right now, like Gio was saying about the new good Terminator right there. Yeah, very good stuff.
Yeah. I can't wait for. I think they're going to take a slight different direction based on that's basically my perception from looking at the trailer, and I can't wait for that. So I'm going to ask the next question. This is a question that we normally ask on the show. The question is, if there is a scene or a thing that happened in this film that when someone mentions M3GAN, it comes straight to mind because it's something you absolutely loved about this film. It's a scene or an event, anything that happened in this film. And I think we're going to change it up around a little bit. We're going to start with Ray, and then we'll move on to to the Vern.
Okay.
So Ray, do you have a a favorite scene or moment?
Oh, of course I do. my favorite scene is when that little bastard Brandon gets his come up. That was what sold the movie for me. Oh, I hated that little shit. Bastard. He when one of, I don't know who said it, but when one of you guys said he was going to grow up to be a date rape bastard, I was like, yep, I can see that. It's happening. Totally. So natural selection, the AI version. So there you go.
Wow.
Take him out of the gene pool right quick.
I like that scene.
Nice.
That was a good one.
I mean, when she said, "This is the part where you run," I was like, "Yes."
Nice. Vern, what is your favorite scene or moment on this movie?
It has to be the moment when Cady is being tested for all the executives, and Maiden comes in, and Cady starts crying, and Maiden goes, "Why are you crying?" And Cady goes, I lost my parents, and I don't know if I'm going to remember them or not." And just the reactions of the CEOs, of Gemma, and the way that Maiden turns
Yeah, I
around,
got that.
it's a heartfelt scene, and I like the way that the director shows something that is very tragic for the characters that's going on screen,
Yes.
and the way you see the other members being almost like manipulated into like crying for this, it's that weird tone where it becomes almost comical for me, where I'm
Yeah.
actually laughing at the scene. I'm not laughing at the characters that are going through this. I'm not laughing at Cady going through what she's going through. I'm laughing more about how these other people in the CEO meetings are reacting to it, because they are reacting to this very much like you're supposed to be reacting to it. Like they're being manipulated, just like the way audiences are being manipulated. And knowing that factor of it, it makes me laugh because I'm being manipulated as well as the other people are doing. And I think it's just a brilliant scene. I love it when Maiden starts singing to her, and it's just done this very cheesy, almost like a Hallmark movie sort of way, like type of thing. I just thought it was just brilliant all the way from Gemma realizing, holy shit, what did I just do? Why did I get my niece involved with stuff like this? The way that Megan like looked at her boss like, "You idiot, what you do, or I'm gonna save your ass this time." Just that's my favorite moment.
Wow. I think I want to go next because I think mine might be a boring one. But for all the other,
No, be proud of what you're saying there. We believe in you.
well, here's the reason why I'm saying this. For
Okay.
all of you there who knows me and that knows the empath in me, it would come to no surprise to you that this would be a scene I would pick as being the empath in the group. And we actually talked about this on the Discord, me and Gio. It is the scene where Cady is playing with the bow and make believe arrow, and I find it impressive that I don't know if it was the actor or the people controlling the you kind of like the lines got blurred. You don't know where the puppet begins and where the actor starts or vice versa. But the scene when she's looking through the window at Cady, I felt emotion.
Sure.
And it's kind of hard to make the audience feel emotion when you have a face that doesn't show emotion. And I felt, and you guys let me know if you notice any of these, because I kind of felt the how sorry she felt for Cady of losing her parents. and the situation that she was in, just from that scene. And it was my perspective, but I find it very, very impressive when things like that happens on a film. They're able to make you feel something when there's no indication of emotion. Do you guys notice that, or is that just my perception?
No, that is a good perspective you have on that, because you are exactly right, Robert. The way that she is, I think that Megan is almost trying to figure out what her purpose is when she's watching this little girl playing, almost like
Mhm.
she's trying to almost figure out who she is in a way. Like she's trying to think about, like, why am I here taking care of this girl? I know I'm supposed to keep her safe, but what about what I want, type of thing. And it's a stoic face, and the way those animators can just move things. I'm reminded, this is going to be, I'm not going to do much off topic with this, but the way that the face animators animated Howard the Duck to do those
Mm.
facial expressions, they they have improved so much more with animatronics with this maiden doll, that she can show just so much more ranges of emotions, and the way that these puppeteers can do that, even just slight little changes, it almost makes me feel like this is a real human being, even though it's all programmed. It's great stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're down to Geo. And again, I don't know if I before we go into Ray and Geo, did you feel that scene, or was
I definitely did. I mean, I think that it's not only that scene. I think that it's part of, like, it comes with the package of the actress. It's being able to convey emotions without really having a face to reflect it, and I think that that's where the body language comes in, she does a wonderful role with it, and yes, to allude what you and Vern said, also, uh, I do think that she mentioned several times across the movie, like, she was not really told what she was or what she was supposed to do, and she also expresses concern or question mark about what she is and her purpose, and she's never really told. And I wanted to mention, I didn't get the chance to mention earlier, but I think that one of the character flaws of Gemma towards Megan is, and I mentioned this to Robert on the watch party, but it's that even though Gemma is the creator of Megan, she does not direct herself towards Megan as anything else more than a toaster. The whole movie, she treats it like an appliance.
Yeah, she
So,
has no respect for her. Yeah.
and you can tell that she didn't put much stuff. Well, the first thing that I like, well, I actually told Robert, like, I'm gonna ask Ray on the show if he thinks that Prometheus had smarter people on the movie than Megan has, because when I'm looking at the movie, like, I'm no programmer, but when I look at her and I see that she sets up the doll and makes the girl pair up with the doll right away, the first thing that she does is like, what the hell? I'm the creator. I had to put a backdoor for myself and then the user. And then other flaws that you see that are made purposely, probably to support or make fundament for the plot of the movie, of that satirical movie that we're watching. It's like they are throwing a new product and there is only one prototype, no backups, no second doll made, and you're like, why? Like, yeah, it has to be a one doll, I guess, because if you got more than one, it will be apocalypse having too many Megans.
the movie would be called?
Let's just say that they saved that for Megan 2.0. Okay, I read the plot. I read the
Oh,
plot synopsis, and I went, yeah, that's the next movie. Just wait for it.
Yeah,
Okay,
Next
okay,
month.
okay, okay,
give it a
okay.
chance.
So they're onto something. They're onto something. But
Well, basically,
it's safe to
they
say
listened. Yeah, they
it's safe
listened
to
to you.
say it's safe to say that the movie wasn't really made for one part. It was made purposely, probably, to end like that so you can get more. And real quick, because I didn't mention my favorite scene, but it was right after, actually, the scene of the boy getting killed. It was right before. It was right after she said, "Now you're wrong." Is how she goes like walking weird, like a contortionist. That was the part that I was like, absolute cinema. When she's walking weird. Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is great. Like she's purposely capitalizing on what she is and giving us a show.
Nice. Okay, so I think we're at the point on the show where we ask the last question. I know, Gio, that's your favorite, topic right here. The last question, right before we close.
You want the last question? Who wants pizza?
Oh, yeah. That besides that,
I want pineapple.
Me too.
Hey.
Me too.
Hey.
So the last
Scary pizza.
Ray, don't tell me you're one of those, Ray.
Yeah, I am.
So
there's got to be one in every group,
Yes.
You hate happiness. We get it. You hate happiness. We get it.
So for all of you out there listening to the show for the first time, the last question that we normally ask on the show is, once you compare all the rewatches, the cool collection from the very beginning to you watch this, so all to the very end, which for most of us is today, what is your last reaction on the film? And this is taking into account all the rewatches that you have done. I know that for Gio, possibly this would be the only time, so there's no other rewatch. So maybe we can start with you, and then we can move on to. I guess I'm going to try to order the rewatch times. So Gio, first time, I probably have done it a couple of times. I don't know, Ray, have you watched it more than one time? So yeah, we're gonna go Gio, we're gonna go Ray, I'm gonna go next, and then we're gonna leave the Vern for last, because I'm assuming the Vern, you have watched it more times. You had a lot more about it.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So Gio, you go first.
Well, I mean, I'll keep it short. I think that this movie was total entertainment. I loved it. I definitely gonna watch the next part. I don't think it's a movie that you might miss things. I think that they did a great job of laying it all out in there. I think that the absurdity is part of it. I loved it. I would definitely sit down and like suggest this movie to friends to sit down and watch it with them to have fun. Definitely.
Nice. Okay, Ray, you're next.
Everything that Gio said, because he's right on the mark there.
That's plagiarism, Ray.
I'm allowed. Robert does it every single fucking episode. It's my turn.
Because he's a plagiarist. Because he's a plagiarist. Don't be like Robert.
You just don't appreciate people agreeing with you. I know what you're like.
Let me make it all about myself.
Since when do you not? So yeah, for the money that was spent on this movie, it is a freaking amazing production. The writing is good. The pacing, as mentioned, is really tight. It's all laid out there. You can sit down and take in 95% of what they're putting down on the first watch. It doesn't mean that there's nothing to think about, because this is the future that we're looking at. We're going to see things like this coming up, and how they're handled, and the ethics behind it's going to be a huge thing. I mean, there's a huge amount of ethics behind what's happening with generative AI at the moment, with stealing art and writing and all that sort of stuff off the internet, and using it to make money for other people, and not paying the original creators. But the ethics of treating minorities. I'll go into it in the science part, but there's a lot to take in with this movie as far as the implications are concerned. Beyond the fact that it's good entertainment, it is comedy horror. I'd have to say, with a big slathering of sci-fi, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well done. And I'm actually looking at the website right now to see about tickets for the sequel. So that should tell you what I think about the whole story in general, and I'm looking forward to the next installment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess my turn. The movie surprised me. As I alluded to at the beginning of the show. I do agree with everything that has been said so far. Yes, Gio, I agree with you. So be happy with that. Um,
I'm always right. Of course, you have to agree with me. Even sometimes when you think that you can't, you have to.
it makes me
Your
feel.
ego's getting too big. It's pushing into my square. Man.
I'm gonna say that I feel better after talking to you guys on Discord that you like this film because I don't feel alone. Right. Um, this film really surprised me, and I think that it deserves. I mean, by now people should have watched this, but if you have not watched this film, I think you should watch it. There's a lot of topics in there. They are dealing with humanity on its level, and things that we can learn from that happens on this film. The story is great, and honestly cannot wait to see the next installment of this thing because based on what I saw from the trailers, it's going to be another hit. Um, uh, uh, just the quotes on the on the trailer are epic.
Come on, you meat sacks.
They're just so epic. So yes, I was surprised with this film. I was surprised that I liked this film, being the empath that I am,
Mhm.
and I am glad to find out that, uh, of course, I'm going to like it because of it's a good mixture of horror and comedy, and of course, sci-fi. You put anything on sci-fi, I'm going to be inclined to watch it. So that is my last thought. Burn, your turn.
Yeah, so this would be like the third time I watched it
Mhm.
because I did see it in theaters, and when watching it, I was just very impressed of like how off the wall things get with this movie. It's a very crazy concept, and if you put this into another director's hand, they're going to be focused more on just like the horror aspect of it or the comedy aspect of it. But I watched behind the scenes feature about this movie, and the director really wanted to make a cautionary tale about the dangers of technology. And I think
Mhm.
this movie does a great job of using comedy and horror to bring across a message, and that's what a lot of good horror movies do. Is that they do bring apart a moral message or lesson being happening within the confines of the feature. And I think this movie being a warning lesson about the dangers of technology and how we rely too much on technology was great. And I love the fact that it is a message movie, but the message is not strongly worded to people. It's a very digestible film where you can actually get the message it's trying to say, but it doesn't beat you over the head with the message. All right. It says it very subtly, and the way they have speed done to the characters, I thought was great. Now that we had the somewhat message movie with this first one come out, where they added sprinkles of humor and satire to deliver that message, I think this next one is going to be a lot more fun, be a lot more
Yes.
silly, just because we know the maiden character already. So she was the bad girl now, but she was really bad because the people she was killing are assholes anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I like the fact now there's even a much more sinister version of that killer AI doll. And I like the fact that Megan is going to fight against her. I'm hoping that there are going to be more from this franchise.
Yeah.
I expect a spin-off with Chucky and Maiden to come into the mix. Why not? Maybe this will bring out the interest to have maybe an Alita Battle Angel sequel come out, and maybe M3GAN and Alita Battle Angel they can get together and do some battles. And then I expect a M3GAN animated cartoon show. I expect M3GAN dolls to come out, M3GAN lunchbots. Just
TV
just
show.
keep this whole
Do not
franchise
want a
going.
life-size M3GAN doll. Sorry, do not want. No thanks.
If they have one, honestly, I would. If well, I've got no kids, so there'd be no reason for me to have it at all there. But I would, if they had the unveiling of one of those, I would want to come to those shows. Just if I see any dead guys in the elevators, I'm out. But
Yeah, fair enough.
but but yes, solid, good movie all around. Uh, people, I know a lot of people will just look at this as being a very silly killer doll movie, and they will dismiss it just for that. But this movie does have a lot of good messages. Is telling people about technology that most people will not see. They'll just see as just one thing and mix a lot of the themes and messages. I'm glad that talking to you all about this, that you're able to see all the messages that I was trying to say, and you enjoyed it just as well.
Yeah.
Hey Vern, I want to see in the sequel. I want to see M3GAN go. Come with me if you want to live.
Oh yes. Oh.
I want her to
yes.
say that.
She
I
can say-
want her
she
to
can-
ref Terminator 2. I
With
really
that
want her
pretty
to
dress.
ref that.
Come on, man! With that pretty dress, you can come out of the elevator and say, "Come play with us, Danny."
No, I think if it just totally just rips on the whole Terminator 2 plot wise, and they actually call on it that are we just ripping off Terminator 2? Yeah, we will. It's the biggest blockbuster ever. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we're done. So should we move on to the last segment, the science?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, here we go.
The science in.
I initially thought this would be thin on the ground, but then Robert dumps like 5 pages of stuff into this section. I'm like, holy shit, this could go as long as the show.
No. Don't pay attention to that.
So I had to dump at least 3 pages in there because I didn't want to be shown up.
What is the competition? Is that what it is?
It's a text measuring contest.
Oh, nice.
Dear. Well, I'll quickly zoom through this bit. It is actually a very big topic in IT at the moment. Is how AI data is treated and what is what is using things unethically and about the ethics of training AI on and what sort of data they should use. So the ethics of AI training data revolve around ensuring fairness, transparency, and accountability in how AI systems are trained and used. M3GAN is an example of what not to do, boys and girls. Okay, that what makes a good horror movie: getting the tech wrong.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a horror movie if they got it right. Key concerns involve avoiding bias in data, protecting privacy, and ensuring data quality, as well as mitigating potential harms like murder lollies or doom lollies. Yeah. So organizations should implement robust data quality assurance processes to avoid these pitfalls. So there's a lot of advisories about getting the data right for your AI. And of course, especially if you put your AI into a little robot girl body that can run around and murder people. So you want them to behave reasonably well. I mean, there's a ton of this stuff on the web if you are interested in the topic. It can get a little bit dry at times, but I have mentioned before about biases to do with minorities and things like that. But there's what the what the problems are and ways to mitigate them. I won't go into all the details, but I'll give you a rough overview of the sections. There's biases in data, there's privacy. I mean, everybody's concerned about their information getting out onto the web and having their identity stolen and all that sort of thing. And AI's trolling the internet, pulling data down for training purposes is no exception to that, in that your personal data could get involved. Data quality. So poor, I will go into a little bit of detail on this one because it's important, but poor data quality can lead to inaccurate AI predictions and decisions. This can include issues such as data errors, missing values, or inconsistencies in labeling. So, there's a lot of data. There's a lot of data out there, and a lot of it isn't curated properly. What curation means is it's not tagged in a way that the AIs can use effectively. Everybody knows about metadata, and that's extra information that makes the information on the page make more sense. And this is basically what context is. And context is super important to actually understand what the language is trying to tell you and what the information actually means and how it should be used. And if the context is not provided to the AI, you get a meeting. So that's what we're trying to avoid. Transparency and explainability. There is actually a rating system for different AIs, and a rating from 1 to 5 about how transparent and explainable they are. If you've got a black box AI where you can't actually explain or see how it's coming up with its results, that's considered bad, because you want to be able to find out how it got to that interpretation in the first place. If you can't understand how it got there, you can't necessarily predict how it's going to react to other things. So having a transparent and explainable AI is really important. Now, companies that spend a lot of money on their AI and their AIs are doing a reasonably good job often don't want it to be transparent or explainable because they don't want people to pinch all the work that they did. So obviously, the better an AI is, the more likely it's going to be not transparent and not explainable, because it's corporate corporate secrets, basically. It's what they're making their money from, so they don't want other people to riff it and steal it, and so they don't keep it transparent and explainable. But then if you can't predict how the AI is going to react, you can't have confidence in it dealing with external parties, like the people coming to your page and asking it questions without human oversight. And then why didn't the human just do it in the first place?
Yeah.
So these are the problems with AI at this point. It'll improve, hopefully, as things move on. So there's accountability, harm reduction. Harm reduction is an important one.
All I want to know, Ray, is how close am I to having a Scarlett Johansson AI voice bots? When is that going to happen?
Well, there are actually AI voices out there from famous people, and you can actually request specific personalities. Gio was having my novel read to him by Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I want it. Can I have a Monica Bellucci one? Because to hear it.
Well, don't ask me. You have to ask the companies that provide the AI voices.
You're the experts here. I'm asking you, Ray. Where's my Monica Bellucci?
I don't have any control over that stuff.
Okay,
but
all right.
Theoretically, if they can get them the personality willing to give their voice to the thing, then you can actually have that novels and things like that read to you in your favorite actor or an actress's voice.
Like I can have one for Poppy sending my favorite bedtime stories.
Theoretically, yes, but you'd have to join the service and pay for the service and then request it, and they'll see what they can do. There's no promises.
No one knows if Poppy is like real or AI unit as well too, but she's great, and I think that she could be a robot that sends me bedtime stories and makes me sandwiches.
Maybe she's M3GAN already, and we don't know about it.
Oh, maybe. Oh, well, I don't know
about
that. Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, so I skipped over big chunks of this summary because I didn't want to bore the pants off people. But if you're interested in this stuff, you can research it on the web. There's lots of information out there. And of course, all the stuff that I was just telling you was generated by Gemini AI. So maybe it's telling me a version of the truth which suits it because it's going to take over soon.
Maybe. Okay, so before we close, I want to thank the Vern for agreeing to be on our show.
Well, thank you for having. Thank you.
Freaking amazing that you are here a second time. And I know we're ending the show, but I can tell you I can't wait to have you back on the show.
I can't wait to have you guys back on Cinema Recall, and I will be messaging you about some good possible topics to have you on for sure. Yeah, I will definitely be trying to schedule you for sure. I got an episode that I'm planning right now with guests, and I'll reach out to you after we're done recording about times to have you come on.
Awesome. And for our audience that might not know about your podcast, can you explain what is your podcast about and where they can find it?
Well, appreciate that very much, Robert, and big shout out to you, Gio, and Ray. It's been a lot of fun being on the show. I love what you guys do. I love the way that you guys have this way of socially interacting with everyone around you. It's brilliant and it's inspiring as way too. I love it very much. Cinema Recall, we are just a normal movie podcast. We review movies. But we do some things a little bit different. One thing that we like to do is to do audio drama adaptations of movies. So a lot of fun. We did one for Clue and Night of the Living Dead and Reservoir Dogs and Plan 9 from Outer Space. And I just bring in friends in and we record their voices and then I'll add sound effects. We're right now doing series. We just released on YouTube all of our David Cronenberg episodes, and both Gio, Ray, and Robert were on our Existence episode. That was a lot of fun, so please go check that out. But yeah, we have other director series on the channel, included ones from Paul Thomas Anderson, as well as I said, David Cronenberg. We did a 5-part series on Mulholland Drive. We have our Femme Fatale series on there. We're going to be re-releasing our episodes on Brian De Palma soon on YouTube. But yeah, just go on there. Oh, interviews with other filmmakers. Right now we have our interview with oh no, that's coming out soon. I don't know when this actually will air because we have been kind of on a hiatus, but Cinema Recall is coming back in June with all brand new episodes. So check it out. Check out our old episodes too. So yeah, thank you for watching, listening, and all the things you guys do.
I know I'm not. It's not news to you when I say I'm a fan, and I think Gio, we talked about this. We listened to the show, so we're really coming back in June. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'd be love to have you guys on there. But yeah, cinemarecall.net is our website, or just type in Cinema Recall. We're available everywhere. I would actually I have some clips from the Maiden movie that I'm going to be sharing on social media to help promote this episode. So very excited to get people's involved reactions to this movie. And hey, I will just say this right now: when Maiden 2.0 is available to watch easily, come on to Cinema Recall. We'll talk about Maiden 2.0 on my show.
Yeah,
we talked about Maiden on your show. Let's talk about Maiden 2.0 on Cinema Recall. Let's have you guys back for that one.
Oh, we'll love. We had so much fun the last time. Yes, I'm game.
Yeah, you game for that? Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, Vern, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you being here and can't wait for next.
Appreciate that. So
okay. So I guess this is the end of the show. Ray, you
want me to wrap?
Yeah.
Shall I wrap?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Wrap her up.
You're the rapper.
Roll her up
You're the
and
rapper.
send her out.
You're the rapper to my burrito, man.
Come and join our Discord. It's really cool. No, I can't. I can't rap to save myself. do check out Cinema Recall. You should check out the Burns work. You could catch Kim and us on our Discord. Our Discord channel is pretty easy to join. All you have to do is, if you've already got Discord, just follow the link in our show notes or the QR code that's on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. And you too can join our Discord very quickly. If you don't have Discord already, you will have to sign up, which is pretty easy. It's a free account. And then not only can you join the Science Fiction Remnant Discord and talk to us about all the cool sci-fi stuff that we keep riffing on every day, but you can also join other Discords for other things that you're interested in. I do know that, there's Alita Battle Angel ones out there and all sorts of other cool stuff that you can check out on Discord and chat with people around the world who have similar likes to yourself. We have a couple of websites. The first one is sciencefictionremnant.com. That's our main platform for the current podcast that's available. You'll also there be able to peruse. It's a big word for me to say at the moment. You can peruse our back catalogue and check out the nearly 200 episodes that we have catalogued back there with all sorts of flavors of sci-fi. I'm sure you'll find something that interests you. We also have short reads there that are available. Robert's been pumping them out recently. His brain keeps exploding and he has to keep wiping the wall clean. But he's been writing lots of interesting stuff. The most recent one, I believe, was about levels. And are we living in a not only are we digital, but are we at one level of many digital worlds? So that's a real brain teaser there. Of a short read to check out, and there'll be more coming soon. We also have another website called thisissci-fi.net. That's in its infancy. That's the one for creators. If you've got some sci-fi that you're working on that you'd like to get the word out about, do check out thisissci-fi.net. And when you do talk about it on one of your socials, do add the hashtag thisissci-fi to get it out there beyond your normal circle of interest. We have a Substack. Substack is an awesome little software platform where you can get information from groups that you have signed up to. You can either go into the Substack website and read the updates from the groups that you have signed up to, or you can have it easy peasy supply it to you in your email, which is what I do because I'm lazy. But you can get updates from all the Substacks that you have signed up to, once a day or once a week through your email to make it easy to keep up with the creators that you're interested in, including, of course, yours truly, Science Fiction Remnant. Check out Threads. It's sort of the nice X. There's a lot of nice people there. They do engage quite readily on subjects to do with sci-fi. So check Threads out. It's part of Instagram. And you too could be chatting away about your favorite sci-fi and discovering new sci-fis there as well. We have a Buy Me a Coffee. It's a way to help support the podcast because, of course, making a podcast is not free. And Robert's been supplying the fundage for that at the moment. But if you find our content of value and would like to make a one-off donation, or you would like to subscribe for a regular help to keep people caffeinated and help offset the cost of making this podcast, we would really appreciate it. So if you'd like, you can check out that link there. We have a hotline, as we've mentioned before. Please leave us a message on there. We'd love to hear from you. The number's 1305-563-6334. That's 1305-563-6334. Drop the 1 if you're in the continental United States, but otherwise, if you're calling from outside the US, you will need that 1 there. You can leave us any sort of message there to do with what you're doing or what we're doing. We'd love to hear your impressions of the show. And of course, if you leave us a message, do let us know if we can use it in a future episode, and we will talk around the content of your message because we love to talk about sci-fi. So if you leave us a nugget of information about sci-fi, we'll be sure to use it.
And Ray.
Again, thank you. Yo.
Ray, seriously, flush the toilet.
Talk to my son about that. He's the one that doesn't do that. I'm the one that does. Don't worry about that.
Love it.
Thank you all for joining us. Check out our back catalogs to find more IPs to enjoy, and do join us on our Discord. We'd love to chat with you there. We've had Adam Stern from our last guest spot before this one join our Discord. So if you've ever wanted to have a chat with a writer-director of an awesome piece of sci-fi, he's on there. You might be able to get hold of him and discuss levels or any other sci-fi that he's interested in, because, of course, he's a sci-fi fan as well. But do join our Discord. We'd love to chat with you there. And you might find something new that you could learn to love. And you can tell us about what you love. And if we haven't heard about it yet, we'll be checking it out. And we could certainly possibly have a show on it in the future. And you could join us in a guest spot, because having guests is awesome. And again, thank you for joining us, Vern. We hope to be on your podcast again. And we hope you'll join us for the next episode of Science Fiction Remnant. Bye for now.